And what is it? Welcome back to Ask DLF. I am Calvin and Hobby. You can see me at Calvin and Hobby right there. Cal, you can just call me Cal. You need to call me Calvin and Hobby, just Cal. I got Tyler here with me, as always. This is our Tuesday night show. Again, if you missed last week, it was our debut, week 1. This is a weekly show, and we plan on running this thing not just throughout the off season, Tyler. No, that would be too easy. We plan on running this thing all the way through the season. We're here for you. The whole point is we want to take your questions. We put it out on Twitter. We told you that Scott Fish was generous enough to allow us to give away a spot in the Scott Fish Bowl 11. And we asked for questions, and man, you delivered. We have so many questions to get through. I have no idea how long this is going to be.
Oh, it's going to be very long.
Yeah, it's going to be very long. We're going to tee those up, and we're going to go through that. We're going to give away the Scott Fish Bowl spot at about the 1 hour mark. Okay, so stick with us. Enjoy this show. We got a lot of great things. If you're tuning in, we already have a lot of people here watching the show. If you're watching, go ahead. If you have other questions, get them in the comments. Just because we already have a bunch doesn't mean that we can't take more. That's what we're here for. So, without further ado, Tyler, welcome in. Appreciate you, joining us here again, joining me here again. We are excited to be here doing this. How's your day? What's going on in your life right now?
I mean, my day is pretty good. Yeah. I just want to get to all of the questions. I'm sure there are going to be many, many, many of those.
Do you have any articles that are posted that we can go check out?
Let's see. I mean, there was an article I wrote about Juju Smith-Schuster that was published recently. I have a lot of articles in the tank. I think I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 articles in the tank. One of them is a special article that I don't know exactly when it's going to publish, but it's going to be for I don't know how much I can say. I don't know how secretive this is supposed to be, but some sort of special article. You'll see it. Look for it on a different platform. It'll be in a different location than usual. So I did a special work recently.
And if you want to see all the articles that Tyler writes, they're at dynastyleaguefootball.com. I actually wrote one, the AFC East preview that is kind of like what happened after the draft. I had to mix in a little bit of the offseason moves just because with the Bills, but it was a good article. You should definitely go check that out, even if I have to say so myself. I don't write very often, so when I do, I would really appreciate your support. Go check it out.
Also, I just thought of something.
Yeah.
I kind of like – so – in the post for this, I kind of like at DLF_Tyler better. We made a mistake. I don't know who did the tweet, but whoever did it, made a mistake with that on the DL Football account. But I kind of like that at better. Should I just change it?
Everybody has that already.
Yeah, I should change it. I don't know. That could be something interesting. That could be interesting if I changed it.
One last thing before we get to your questions. Make sure that you go check out Ryan McDowell's recent post at RyanMC23. If you're not already following Ryan, which if you're not, what are you doing? You should be following Ryan. He's got some mocks going on, and we need people that can go in there and fill those up. He's got some Debbie mocks, all kind of mocks. Go check out his tweet and get in those mock drafts. We need help accumulating that data, and we want smart football people like you, because you're a smart football person if you're watching the show, and we're here to pick Tyler's brain to figure out how to make all of us smarter. And let's just jump right in. We got a comment right to the show. Just if you're watching this, use the comment section, put it in there. We're gonna get to it. Dylan McDonald's first up. Well, first Jay says, hey, what's up, Jay?
Hey.
And then Dylan, I'm on the clock at 207 in a super flex. Do I take Saquon Barkley or trade back 207 and 806 for 312 and 40 or 41?
Okay. How is Barkley still there at 207?
I guess it was super flex. That seems late.
Though, right? That seems late. But that is really good value. for the 207 and 806. I'd much rather in a vacuum have the 312 and 401 than
Same.
the 207 and the 806. So it's hard to give up Barkley though. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably still do it, but it's hard. I'd probably just it's tough.
10-team league looks like is my guess. Dylan, if you're still watching, confirm that. I'm guessing a 10-team league, and yeah, I say make the trade. A third and a 12th. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
I mean, 312 and 401. Let's do that.
Yeah, I'd take the 312 and 401 there.
All right, so we are going to jump into some questions that we got in last week. This is from the YouTube comment. Corey Geisler, YouTube comment. We told him we would answer it. Corey, hope you're watching. 14-team PPR Dynasty non-Superflex. He was offered Jordan Love, the starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, DeAndre Swift, TJ Hawkinson, 2022 first and 2023 first for Joe Burrow, Michael Carter, and Kyle Pitts.
Okay.
One QB.
Yeah, one QB. Oh, what? What am I missing here? This is one QB. It's the Swift side. I don't understand this trade. In one QB, Swift is worth the entire other side. So I'm not there's something I'm not understanding here. This is stupid. It's the Swift side by a mile. Not even close. Without the 2 firsts, it's about equal.
100%.
Maybe. Not even really. I mean, yeah, in a one QB, Burrow's not worth much. Carter is maybe, and Pitts, I'd rather have Swift. So, because it doesn't say anything about any premium or anything like that. So, yeah, I don't understand this trade. It's maybe the Kyle Pitts hype is a little crazy. Maybe people are scared of Swift with Gurley visiting there, but I don't understand this one at all. So yeah, it's Swift side easy. Let's move on.
Especially a 14-team league, getting a running back like that. That's what you want.
I don't.
No doubt.
Yeah. Next.
So let's go back. We're gonna jump back over. Dylan. Oh, Dylan says it is a 12-team league. I still think I'd want the 312 and the 401. And he says thank you. And we thank you, Dylan, for having that question right there in the tank. If you are joining us, you're here, you're watching this, we want more of those questions, so make sure you get those in. It looks like he agrees with us swift and quickly, so we're gonna go right to our Twitter questions now. And the first one that came in was from FF Rebel. Thoughts on 0 RB, a team stacked with 5 top 30-ish wide receivers, a top tier QB, and a tight end seems like a no-brainer. So there was a little bit more to his tweet. I had to cut it down to make sure I got it all in here, but it was basically just that, like, if everybody's going 2 running back right off the get-go, you could kind of zig when everybody else is zagging. What do you think?
I'm fine with it. I always draft for value, trade for need. So yeah, I don't have any specific opposition to 0 RB. I will say that generally, the way I value things, I often end up with some sort of early running back, at least one. I like the value of the running backs. I've noticed I like the value of the running backs at the very beginning and then not again for a very long time. Like sometimes I end up with one running back and then the next running back I pick is in round like 17. So yeah, I do maybe would usually end up getting that one running back that I like early. It would often be Jonathan Taylor for me if I had a way to get him, or guys that I'm higher on than most, which would tend to be the younger players. So you'll never see me getting Alvin Kamara. You'll never see me getting Dalvin Cook. It would always be players like J.K. Dobbins or DeAndre Swift would be the ones I would tend to get. But I do like getting a guy like that if possible. Najee Harris as well would be another candidate that I would like. But yeah, I don't have any specific issue with 0 RB, but it depends. It depends on your league format too. If you start 2 RBs, I'm less into it. If you only have to start 1 and all the rest are flexes, then I'm more okay with it. So just, make slight adjustments based on your league format.
See, this basically means going 7 rounds without a running back, and I just don't think I am going to do that. I think it's going to leave you too weak at running back. I just don't know that there's enough value back there. And then the value at wide receiver is good in those spots, especially if you're looking at a flex. And I think at some point, even if you're going to go like round 4 or 5, that's still a little bit later running back. I just don't know that I want to go 7 rounds and still not have my any running backs at all.
It could happen though. Like if you started like in the middle of the round and your first, let's say it was 1 QB and you were in the middle of the round and your first pick was Justin Jefferson or AJ Brown, which I would often recommend doing. Those guys tend to slide a little bit toward the middle. And then maybe by the time your next pick comes up, all the good running backs are gone. And you'd have to reach on someone that I wouldn't recommend reaching on. You could end up just by value, you just don't end up with a running back. But typically if I start either in the beginning or the end, my first pick tends to end up being a running back unless Jefferson or Brown slips to the end. And they usually don't.
Yeah, very good. So yeah, FF Rebel, you are entered into our contest to give away a spot to the Scott Fish Bowl.
I mean, everyone who put in a question is entered in, and we even if we don't read it, we made sure that everyone gets their chance.
Yeah,
as long as you follow the rules, as long as you use the hashtag, as long as you followed the 3 accounts that you had to follow, me, Cal, and the DL football account. As long as you follow those rules, you'll have an equal chance of winning.
Okay, so here's just a couple of ground rules that I meant to cover, and I totally dropped the ball in the beginning of this. Here's a couple of ground rules for this. All right. So if you are in the comment section here, you got all the Twitter questions in. Excuse me. We're gonna answer them. We're gonna as long as it takes. Me and Tyler are gonna be here. We're gonna answer these questions. All right. Sure. The comments that come in, we're gonna do everything we can to get to those. We will stop the show every now and then. We've never even asked for it. We're not even asking for it, but just telling you, if a super chat comes in, we're going to stop and we're going to answer that question. That's just going to happen. We've done that before. We'll do that again. We're also going to stop if somebody like Addison checks in and has a question that he wants us to cover. So Addison chimes in and says,
Addison, this is not a real question. This is just Addison trying to poke back at me after what I said last time.
So I should clarify.
What's going on here?
We'll especially cover it if Addison is poking Carp. All right. Thoughts on Rashad Bateman as the rookie 101? I view him as a solid wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside almost immediately from day 1 to the moon, Addison says.
So
what do you think?
I'm very interested in whatever cool supplements Addison has been taking recently, because they seem to have instituted him into a fantasy world that he lives in. No, this is a ridiculous question. No, I don't. Addison's just trying. He knows I'm not high on Bateman, and he's just trying to make me mad. With that said, I like the ADP on Bateman came out a lot lower in May than I thought it would. After we recorded those videos, the divisional breakdowns, the ADP on Bateman was almost a full round lower than I expected. So the price that he actually came out at is totally fine. It was 76th overall in 1 QB. Totally fine. No issue with that price at all. So I think I'm a couple spots lower, but we're not talking about a big difference. So yeah, I think that the most people, at least according to that ADP, actually view Bateman kind of the way I do. Even if the way I'm talking about it is more negative, the conclusion and the value is actually almost the same.
And if you don't mind me speaking for you just a second here, that Carp is not saying Lamar Jackson's bad. That's not the reason
I never
why
said that. Yeah.
He's saying that Rashad Bateman isn't going to live up to expectations. He's saying that because Rashad Bateman is probably going to get lower volume than anybody else. That's the main thing. But I love him in best ball. That's a format that I think he makes a lot of sense for. As I said, we will stop what we're doing. Colin.
For a super chat.
Colin Porter. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you for that. And also, everyone, you should send in super chats. Send them in. They go to support Dynasty League football. They don't go into mine and Cal's pocket. They go into supporting Dynasty League football, which will allow us as a site to produce more content, to work on our tools, to give you all better stuff for that subscription that you all should have. You should all subscribe. It'll allow us to improve the tools, improve the trade analyzer, and improve the website performance, beef up the forums. Like every little dollar helps to go toward that. So it's not just for us; it's for the whole site, and we appreciate that.
It kind of shows our bosses that we're that you guys like what we're doing, which is good.
Sure.
And I think it doesn't have to be that. If you can do that, great. If not, hey, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, leave a like. Those are the kind of things that you can do that would really mean a lot. We're working hard to try to make sure that we answer all the questions. So
I will answer all of the questions. I mean, that's what we're gonna do.
Numbers checks in. What up, DLF fam? And a 12-team startup with the 101, 102, and 105 spot taken. Which spot would you take over with what's left? So they must be, must be trying to figure out who's gonna draft where. And somebody's already said 101, 102, 105. Where would you want to be?
Well, first of all, thank you for the $5 super chat.
Oh,
we really appreciate that. Thank you. In this case, depending on whether it's a 1QB or a super flex, I don't know if you want to comment with that, which one it is, but generally I kind of actually like being in the middle. If I can't in the super flex, I want the 101. In a super flex, I would want the 101 just naturally. I want Patrick Mahomes, and I'll sacrifice whatever it takes to get that. In a 1QB, there is no real one specific player that I value that much more. Yes, CMC is my 101 in 1QB, but it's not a big difference between him and other players. So I'd like to be, it's a super flex. Okay.
Yeah.
So in a super flex then, if 101, 102, and 105 are already taken, I start my draft with 7 quarterbacks. Mahomes, Kyler, Allen, Prescott, Lamar, Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Herbert. I'd like to start with quarterback. I'd like to make sure I get one of those 7. So I would say 107. So that way I see everyone other than Mahomes as basically equivalent in value in that group. So I just want one of them. And I want 107 so I can get a better player on the turn around at 206. So it would be 107 for me.
Yeah, great answer there. Numbers, I'll just chime in and say, I would want the 103 because I think there is a tier. Allen and Murray, I would like over the rest of those. So for me, that's getting the 103 would guarantee me one of those Mahomes, Allen, Murray, and I'd want to jump in to get that. But yeah, thanks again for the super chat right there. Let us know how it goes. Let us know who you get. Make sure you're following these guys on Twitter as well. DL Football at DL Football. Let's continue on here. Alex, in my rookie draft, should I take Ryan Fitzpatrick at 210?
What?
In a 10-team Superflex PPR league. I also have 2, 4, and 3 late third. So this must be like a rookie veteran combined draft.
What must have happened is that Ryan Fitzpatrick was on waivers and he's in the rookie draft now. So 210 in a 10-team Superflex is 20th overall. So you're looking at in that range, looking at De'Ami Brown, Pat Freiermuth, Terrace Marshall. 10-team Superflex reduces the value of quarterback a lot, though. The scarcity is just not there. You could do it. The other picks you have don't matter for this. So I would say probably not, because quarterback value goes down a lot in a 10-team Superflex. It's not a little, it's a lot. Because every team can have 3. There's just no pressure. So there's really no pressure there. So I would say probably not. It's close, though. If you had said a couple picks later, I think there are exactly 20 players I like. 21 if it's tight end premium, and Pat Freiermuth would be included in that group. So, yeah, I think that's my answer. I would say no. But if you're a contender and you really need a quarterback, then I'm okay with it. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, that's my answer.
I think the fact that Fitzpatrick is there tells you what the value is there. The difference in a 10-team league, because I don't think if he hits the waiver wire in a 12-team.
I also suspect that this is a very shallow league.
Yeah, probably
not a lot of bench spots, which means I want Fitzpatrick even less. Because in a shallow league like this, you'll be able to grind replacement quarterbacks from the waiver wire. Those 1-week starters you get as pop-ups from time to time, they'll be on waivers. So then I'm even less interested in Fitzpatrick if it's a really short bench, and I would just take my chances with the receivers I mentioned earlier, Marshall or Brown or Pat Fryerman with his tight end premium.
We are 20 minutes in, 40 minutes away from giving away our spot, SFB 11, and I'm super pumped to be able to do it. I got a way that I'm going to do it.
Questions.
I got a way that I'm going to do it that Carp doesn't even know about. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
I have no idea what he's going to do.
Yeah, I'm excited to unveil this. It's really cool. Jay Pounds, we're going to just keep rolling through questions. 12 teams, Superflex. I have Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson, and Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. And I've been offering Hurts for Watson straight up. Take it. Who would you take out of the two long term? I'm taking Hurts.
Oh, man.
Let's say you.
Oh, I hate this question. Look, I would say, I mean, it's pretty simple, really. I don't think Watson plays in 2021 at all. So if you want to win this year, you're not going to win with those quarterbacks. If that's all you have, you can't win. You're going to lose. So if you want to win, you have to take Hurts. If you think you're going to lose and you think that your team sucks, just keep Watson, because I think that Watson is more likely to be a starter in 2022 than Hurts is. I have serious concern. I'm pretty out on Hurts. I'm not a big Hurts fan long term. I think he gets replaced. And I think he could be replaced through no fault of his own. He could play pretty well, but they're not committed to him at all. Like, if they go 7-10 and they have an opportunity, they'll have 3 first-round picks next year. They'll have an opportunity to acquire someone else, even if Hurts plays well. They're not committed to him. They don't really like him. They wanted to draft Zach Wilson this year. They wanted to trade up to draft Zach Wilson. So this is just, I need to know more about the rest of your team. If you're really a contender, take Hurts, but otherwise, I think you have to stick it out with Watson and just hope for the best. This is a very difficult situation to be in, to be honest, because you probably thought that you were you had one of the best quarterback duos in the league earlier in the you're competing. Okay. He just commented that he's competing. Well, if you're competing, you're not competing right now. You're not competing in a super flex with those quarterbacks. You're actually not competing. So if you really think you're going to win, take Hurts, take your chances is what I would tell you. I would try to get something back with Hurts for Watson. You should be able to, because I think a lot of people are significantly concerned about Hurts.
Yeah, and I think there is reason to be concerned, but there's obviously reason to be concerned about Watson as well. And, I think especially as the season gets closer, I think Hurts is going to have a better ADP and have more value. So even if you had to flip him.
No, I don't think so.
You're looking at holding on to Watson for 18 months before you can use him, or 15 months, whatever it is.
I think people will. Did people really jump off Saquon Barkley when he tore his ACL? Not really, right? Like, I think that, unfortunately, as much as I dislike it, I think that we have to accept, more than likely, that Deshaun Watson is going to play in the NFL again eventually. Like, that could be a long time from now. But my issue with Jalen Hurts is that I think that Jalen Hurts' career as a starter is going to be limited. So I think Watson is worth more, and I think he's going to continue to have a higher ADP, no matter what, really. So, yeah, I would try to get something back with Hurts, but honestly, I'm not sure this is the avenue I would take. Like, I might just, you think you're competing, but I might just cancel that plan, sell off all your assets and try to rebuild. And then wait for Watson to come back is actually what I might do, is cancel your plan of competing, because I don't really want to do this. I don't really want to trade Watson for Hurts. You see what I'm saying? You're in a terrible situation. And I don't know how good your team is. Are we talking, like, this really depends. Like, are we talking about by far the best team in the league outside of quarterbacks? Are we talking about a good team? Are we talking about a team that has lots of young stars? Are we talking, like, this is the kind of thing, and I have a Patreon for this, where I literally will sit with you. That my entire Patreon, the only thing on my Patreon, there's no content, is I just sit with you and manage your roster. I'll talk you through all of this. This is the kind of thing that's like, I need to talk to you. Like, this is an hours-long question, because it's not that simple. It really depends on your entire roster. But just in a vacuum, the answer is that Watson is worth more. So use that how you need to use it.
The chat is divided here. Brandon agrees with you and says Watson. The real Big Ben.
I'm not sure which sinking ship he's talking about, though, because you could see Hurts and Watson as sinking ships.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what that
nothing
means.
more than to keep rotating through
I
quarterbacks.
agree with that. And I also want to thank Ryan. He was let me on his show, I believe. So it's very
cool.
nice of him.
Yeah, Ryan's a good dude. I met him on Clubhouse, and he joined the Viper.
Oh, yes.
Which is really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I might have talked to him.
Let's jump back in. We do have the ticker down below, which tells you that we are taking your questions. Make sure you use the live chat box.
This is a good question.
Yeah, this is a really good question. We have so many good questions to get to, man. This is seriously this is really good stuff. All right, John Colt 83. In a dynasty rebuild, when it comes to collecting draft picks, do you suggest quantity or quality? Trade back and get more picks versus putting a few picks together to get a better prospect?
I don't know how to answer that. Like, I would say, oh, and Jay, by the way, my Patreon, I just posted about it today. So just scroll down on my Twitter at DLF_carp. You'll find it. But as for this question, I don't have a specific answer. Value. You want value. If value comes from trading up, then trade up. If value comes from trading back, then trade back. It usually comes from trading back, by the way, typically, but not always. Sometimes you get a sweetheart offer to trade up, great value. And if you could tell me that I'm starting a rebuild with Jamar Chase, I like that. I like that one. I want to start my rebuild with Jamar Chase in the super flex. You're telling me I can start my rebuild with, probably not Trevor Lawrence, probably not getting there. if my team was maybe it was that bad that I earned the 101 and then I would love to trade Trevor Lawrence, but I'm probably not trading up to the 101. But if you're telling me I could trade up and acquire Trey Lance or Justin Fields for a good value, I would love to do that in a rebuild. But at the same time, if you're telling me that I have the 102 and someone's offering me like the 105 and like 3 future firsts, then sure. Okay, bye-bye, Trey Lance. I'll take my 105 and 3 additional firsts on top of that. So yeah, you want value. In a rebuild, you want value. You want value. And the other thing you do not want any dying assets. So I usually when I'm rebuilding, I usually use these quantifiers. I'll quantify it when I'm rebuilding. Maximum ages. I don't want any running backs really, I don't want any running backs at all. If I have to have one, 23 is the maximum age I'm willing to accept. So that is not very many players. 23 or younger. Anyone else I don't want. Wide receivers, 25, maybe 20, even 26 is starting to become too old. If I'm really rebuilding, I want 25, really. 25 or younger. So that's players, you know who those players are, but 25 or younger is if I'm really rebuilding. Tight end, I'm willing to accept a little older because tight ends age better, 26, 27. And a quarterback, I want one on the right side of 30. So younger than 30. So like Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson would be too old for me. We're starting to get to declining area, so I don't want those guys. So those are my age thresholds for rebuilding. And that's the most important thing. I just won't take on those older assets. But as for quantity versus quality, that also depends on your league format as well. So value and league format.
I'm going to steal a line from one of my favorite fantasy analysts of all time, Sigmund Bloom, who says it's really important to have clarity. And I think that's one of those things here. Like, you can utilize these draft picks. I think you need to some degree, you do need to prioritize getting quantity. Like, as long as those are not quantity of 4th and 5th round picks, right? Like having some stable of like draft picks in your queue that you can use to move up, because there, for instance, like in a 1 QB, after 1-7, there's a big tier break right there. So if you have the 109 and you can move up by using a 3rd round pick, you try to do that. I do think there is trying to get that quantity and then having clarity on who you want to go get and where the tier breaks are, who you want, and then be aggressive and go make those moves, make those offers to try to move up.
I like the last thing you said. Be aggressive. Be aggressive and make offers. If you don't make offers and you don't try to make trades, you won't make any trades. No, if you put in 0 effort, you'll get 0 results. You don't just luck into good dynasty teams. That does not happen. So if you put in effort, you're more likely to get results. And being aggressive is a good way to do that. I love that last point that you made.
Ryan mentioned it was a pleasure having you on, Tyler. Can't wait for the next time. And you're the man, Cal. Really appreciate that, Ryan.
Yes, I promised Ryan an additional show where the entire show was just us arguing. Was just an arguing show where we only talked about things that would make me mad. So that's what I promised. And I may deliver that for the people in the near future. Now I've said it on a live show. So now it must come to
Now
pass.
you got to do it. That's right.
Well, no, I was always going to do it. Now this is telling them. Now it has to happen. Now I've said it. Now I've let the cat out of the bag. So now we got to do it. There's also one other thing I want to do. So earlier today, I posted, I don't know if you saw this, but I posted a thread about the Texans front office and their signing of Rex Burkhead. I did a little quiz. For what word I would use to describe the Texans front office. So I noticed that a lot of people in the comments do not regularly listen to my show. We'll answer that question from Colin.
Yeah, I'll answer in just a second, Colin.
But a lot of people do not listen to my show that often because there is one word that I use constantly, especially when we did the episode's divisional breakdown with Cal. What word do you think I would use to describe the performance of the Texans front office?
All right, so don't say it. Yeah, so go ahead and put it in the comments if you
know it. Put it in the comment.
If you're watching this back on the replay, go ahead, put that word down there below if you know what that word is. And we definitely have a few people chiming in here. I think these guys certainly know you pretty well. It's not this one.
Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Yeah, no, not that one.
But yeah, Colwyn, Ryan, and then I don't know how to say this name. Pituthar?
Do I have to say it? Failure. Failure. That's what I have to say. Yeah, failure. The Texans front office inept is another good one.
Close. Yeah.
But yeah, so I promised that the first person who commented with the right answer would get a shout out. Complete and total failure. Ooh, Ed, I like that. So yeah, the first person who commented with the right answer, I promised would get a shout out. Now, my co-host on Dynasty Duo, CJ, did comment with the right answer, but that would be the same as you commenting with the right answer, Cal. So that is not fair. If you guys got it wrong, I would be very annoyed.
Yes.
But no. So Primetime Mock Drafts was the first one to buzz in with the right answer. And I don't know if anyone on here has heard of his work. I was actually supposed to be on his show, but I was very sick. I had the flu, so I had no voice, so I couldn't go on his show. But I was supposed to be on there. And yeah, he's doing great work, mock draft shows. He actually just posted one in my retweet content group that you'll see on my account when I get off here. I'll put that out for you guys. But yeah, he does great work, and he was the first one to buzz in with failure. So yeah, I did promise that. So there's your shout out, Mr. Primetime Mock Drafts.
Let's jump in right here. Colin asks, how do I find Tyler on Patreon?
You want me to drop the link? I don't know how to do that.
Oh, in the comments? Yeah, I can edit in or we'll see if Addison, if you're still out there, edit it and put the link in there.
So my Patreon somehow, and people, I'll put it in the private chat, and then you tell me how we can get that in the comments.
Okay.
So
I got you.
I somehow have the Patreon that's Patreon/fantasy advice. I have that. I'm fantasy advice. Somehow that was available. So yeah, that's my Patreon if you just search it. But I put the link.
There it is, right there.
Link, but that probably doesn't help people because they can't click on it.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can copy and paste that. I did just post about it today.
Take a screenshot.
The most efficient time to sign up for Patreon is, of course. So yes, I should put the link in my Twitter bio, but honestly, I'd rather put the link to my DLF author profile. So you only get one link, and I probably would rather have more people read my articles, to be honest, than more people sign up for my Patreon. As much as I love my Patreon, I think I have like 15 to 17 Patreons. I don't know the number, but like I probably have hundreds of people reading my articles. So that's why I made that choice. But I do post my Patreon on the 1st of every month. So that was today. So I did post the link today.
Let's reset. So we do have, we're a little over 30 minutes now, 35 minutes into the show. We're about 25 minutes away from giving away a spot to the Scottish Fish Bowl. We've got 43 people who entered this thing, and I am really excited.
And we've answered like 4 of them.
Yeah, we haven't answered very many.
So we're going to be here for a while, but that is okay because
yes,
We wanted to do this show every week to deliver answers to the people's questions. And yes, I have heard that I'm very loud and that, my voice can be kind of annoying, but I'm sorry. I will be, it's hard to keep this up for 2 hours, but I don't care. I will be here as long as it takes to answer the questions. So I can't do anything about my voice. I'm sorry. This is the voice that you all are stuck with, but I will be here as long as it takes until it kills me to answer every single question.
Question from Ryan earlier. Would you draft Jamar Chase if you own T. Higgins?
Yes.
I own the 101 and then 1 QB.
Yes, I would. I don't fade players on the same team in Dynasty. In redraft, I get it because it caps your ceiling and you need a win. But in Dynasty, you should not be worrying about that. Yes, I would still draft Jamar Chase if I own T. Higgins. So no issues with that at all.
Matt,
I am not low on Gibson.
Imagine being low on Gibson.
This is
could
a big
only
lie.
be Tyler.
I am not low on Gibson. Gibson, and that's a lie. Gibson had an ADP. Gibson over Sanders. I hate Miles Sanders. We're talking someone I'm low on. Miles Sanders is someone I'm low on. That's someone I'm low on. It's someone I dislike very strongly. But Gibson, his ADP in 1 QB leagues was 20 in May. I have him in 18. How low could I be? That doesn't sound low. That sounds like I'm above consensus. So no, I'm not low on Gibson at all. I just prefer J.K. Dobbins and DeAndre Swift over Antonio Gibson. I'm sorry, just like ADP does. So I don't find that to be that weird.
It's not super weird. I do think there's a lot to like about Gibson. I love the possibilities of him in year 2. I hope they figure out how to use him in the passing game. We do have a question coming up that's going to address that. So we are going to get back over to the Twitter questions and ask you this one.
Okay, this is a good one.
Who would you rather own in Superflex Dynasty? Zeke, Aaron Jones, Harris, or Travis Etienne? Najee Harris. Okay.
So to me, these players are in a little bit of different groups. So Harris is by far the favorite of these. It's not close. I want Harris by a mile over the rest of these. And Najee Harris, he's going to get 300 touches this year. That's what I want. So he's my number 1. Zeke would be number 2. Zeke has a contract. His contract, he's going to be there for the next 2 years. So you're going to get 2 years of whatever, minimum 2 years of whatever Zeke is. And I have Zeke this year as my RB6 for 2021. In Dynasty, he's aging. I have him in Dynasty as my Dynasty RB 13 or 14, actually. I have Henry at 13. So just outside of the RB1 range, just because of the risk that Zeke is, aging and didn't look as good last year. But yeah, then I have serious concerns. I have Travis Etienne next. Actually, I've been rising on him a lot. He actually is RB 15 right after Zeke at RB 14. I love Etienne. I'm a big Trevor Lawrence fan. And then I have Aaron Jones last. I have no interest in Aaron Jones whatsoever. Aaron Jones and his 1994 birthday, December 1994, I believe, birthday, making him 26 years old, the oldest of this group. He's older than Zeke. People don't realize that, but he's actually older than Zeke. Aaron Jones is older than people think. He's already 26. And now Rodgers is who knows where. Rodgers is not coming. Rodgers is not coming into play. And we're going to have Aaron Jones with Jordan Love. No, thank you. I have no interest in Aaron Jones at all. He's one of my biggest fades at his current ADP. I hate his ADP. And I think it's going to come down this month now that people are panicking that there's going to be no Aaron Rodgers this year. So, yeah, Aaron Jones is the one. That's the kind of player I just don't want on my team, period. How was that?
Oh, gosh. Okay. Yeah, moving back over into our comments. Chop Soto says, Josh Allen, Watson, Burrow, Barkley. Oh, this must be his roster from earlier.
Okay, I don't care about the roster. What's the format? What's the format? I need a format there.
Let's see.
102 and 104
1 QB, tight end premium.
All right, go back to it then.
Okay, Josh Allen.
Okay, so tight end premium then.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case,
he has the 102 and 104.
I mean, even in tight end premium, how much of a premium are we talking? Like, I would still go Harrison Chase above Pitts. That's an unpopular opinion. Well, it's not actually. It's an unpopular opinion according to people, but not ADP. ADP has it that way, even in premium. So from what I've seen anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I would go Harris or Chase at 102, and then Pitts or ETN at 104, probably with Pitts ahead in premium.
We are now 20 minutes away from giving away the spot to Scott Fishbowl, number 11, 2021. The May
I'm wearing my Scott Fishbowl shirt. You guys can't really see it, but nice. SFBX, where I was in the semifinals in SFBX. My first ever appearance in Scott Fishbowl was last year. This will be my second round. Yeah,
this will be my first year in it. I'm super pumped.
Welcome.
Yeah, excited to be giving away a spot to it here tonight. I'm looking at Dynasty League Football ADP, which, by the way, like that is Dynasty League Football. That's who we are. Like we are a part of Dynasty League Football. We want to hear your questions, but we want you to like be able to like experience and like get an opportunity to view what we've got. To do that, you have a chance to win a free year of DynastyLeagueFootball.com premium membership by going and checking out Ryan McDonald's Twitter feed.
Ryan McDowell, bro.
Right?
We gotta get that right.
What did I say? Ryan McDonald?
Ryan McDowell.
Oh, gosh.
Bro.
Sorry, Ryan.
Sorry, Ryan.
Ryan McDowell's Twitter feed. Go check that out and get into one of the mocks. You have a chance to win a free 1-year membership. You'll be able to read all of Tyler's articles.
Oh, that's definitely the best part.
And Chop, the reason why I brought that up is because you can check out the ADP. And if you check out ADP, it's Harris, Chase, Pitts, and Travis Etienne are the four there. And I think looking at your team, I'd feel good walking away with the 2 running backs, or to have Chase and Etienne on there. I think that would be good for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Continuing on. Alex, thanks, y'all are great. Certainly appreciate that, Alex.
Appreciate that.
Yep. And let's go. Let's answer some more of these live comments. What's the best slot to draft from in a 12-team Superflex startup? That's what
we answered
asking.
already.
If no answer, you guys could break it down and do a vid, maybe. So it's Patrick Mahomes. If you have a chance to get Patrick Mahomes at the 101, you take it.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I know. Yep. It's very clear. It's 101, and that's it.
Yeah. Otherwise, your draft could be a
failure. But if you listen to me, it'll probably be a success.
Okay, let's talk about this real quick. The Real Big Ben asked. We did cover this last week. But Real Big Ben, I actually asked this question last night on the Dynasty Vipers to Scott Fish, who knows a thing or two about commissioning leagues. He said basically like if you want to transition from a 1 QB to a Superflex, yes, you could take time. So the biggest thing is you want to make your decisions in January. And if the whole league is on board doing it one way, then that's great. There's not like an easy way to do it where it makes a lot of sense. He said he's also seen where everybody has to drop their quarterbacks and it goes into a draft. I don't love that. But the biggest thing is the people in your league have got to get on the same page, because there's no good way to do it where everybody's just going to be happy and it's the perfect solution. Like one does not exist.
Yeah. I always just say that you should just start a new Superflex league. And that's going to be the only answer I ever give to this question. So, sorry.
Ryan says, let's go. Can't wait to see someone get into Scott Fishbowl. That's going to happen here very soon. Your voice is not annoying, Tyler. It's alerting.
Yes. I'm aware of that. I wish that I didn't have to hear some of the things that I do hear, but that's part of it. It is what it is, but I appreciate all the actual support that I get. All the people who leave like nice comments and nice feedback and nice reviews. That does keep me going, and I really appreciate that.
Todd asked, how would you rate Najee Harris compared to 2020 running backs? I would say older. That's how I would rate him. What
are we asking here? Are we asking as a prospect, or are we asking now? Because those are two very different questions. If we're asking now, I can just tell you the answer. He ranks behind Jonathan Taylor, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, and DeAndre Swift, and ahead of everyone else. If we're talking, what?
Ahead of Gibson? Did you say?
Oh
Gibson?
yeah. Oh, I want a 300-touch workhorse and not Gibson.
I think I'd take Gibson.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. I think that people are not understanding what Najee Harris is going to do this year. I'm tempted to back off of my take of having Chase as my 101, not because I want to move Chase down, but I almost want to move Najee Harris into my Dynasty first round because I'm just looking at the team. I'm looking at the workload he's going to get. And look at you know what you really want to hear? You want to hear about a rookie doing really well at camp, right? Look at anything coming out of the Steelers beat, anything. It's all about how Najee Harris doesn't look like a rookie. Najee Harris looks like a professional. Najee Harris is not going to have any limitations on his workload. Najee Harris is a workhorse. Najee Harris excels in the receiving game. Everything is all good, zero complaints. And Najee Harris is a workhorse, and Antonio Gibson is not. He wasn't a workhorse. He's never been one in his life. If he were this year, it would be the first time. He wasn't one in college. He wasn't one last year. So I'm just saying, and Najee Harris also has first-round draft capital. He was better in college. And I think he's better now. And I think I might have Najee Harris too low, to be honest. I'm looking at, would I really rather have DeAndre Swift on the Lions? Would I really rather have J.K. Dobbins splitting time, with Gus Edwards? Part of the reason I have those guys higher than Harris is actually because they're younger. But do I really want it that way? That's something I got to think about. So I'm rising on Harris significantly.
BV chimes in. Love these streams. And he had a question. Do you view Cortland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy currently holding more dynasty value?
I'll go with Jerry Jeudy. I'll go with Jerry Jeudy until Cortland Sutton proves to me that he's 100% healthy, which he hasn't done yet. And I'll need to see that on the field. I'll need to see him be 100% healthy. No amount of he's 100% healthy in camp is going to convince me. His knee injury was severe. It wasn't just a regular torn ACL. He tore up everything in his knee. So I'll believe that he's 100% healthy and the same Cortland Sutton when I see it. Until then, I'll go with Jerry Jeudy. And in a rebuild, I'm always going to go with Jerry Jeudy because he's almost 4 years younger.
Jerry Jeudy is one of those that I feel like we always do this. We overreact to drops. And he had some drops there in his first season. And I love the work that Matt Harmon does, because he talks about the myth that these drops are going to hurt their value. They never ultimately do for these high-end guys. And Jerry is definitely a high-end guy.
Did he have that many drops? I mean, he also had the lowest percentage of catchable targets of anybody. So I don't know. I would not. I would be still in on Jerry Jeudy.
Really good point here by I'm Gonna Lock It Up, which is a great name. The Monkey Knife Fight deal is like an insanely good deal. If anyone has hasn't gotten into DLF that way, it's true. $10 donation, or not donation, but how do you say that? $10 deposit. There you go. Words fail me. $10 deposit on Monkey Knife Fight. You get a free year of DLF. That is a great promotion that DLF has going on. So definitely do that. Benny said we copped out. I don't think we copped out, Benny.
I feel like we answered it. But
what's slot number 2 then?
Well, we kind of talked about that earlier. I mean, I said that I wanted 107. So as my second choice if I couldn't have 101. So that was my answer. We talked about that earlier. But yeah, if I can't get 101, I'd want 107.
Oh, good thing. You implied Harris over Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which is a good take. Is that being a high on Harris take or being low on CEH?
Neither. I have Harris ranked at 17 overall. His May ADP is 17 overall. I'm actually higher on CEH than his ADP. I have him at 19. ADP is 25. So actually neither. But I still have Harris ahead of CEH. So, yeah, he's ahead of CEH in consensus, and I agree with it, even though I actually have CEH higher than his consensus.
One was off the board. Wasn't here when you said
that was really
no worries, Benny. Shake it off. We're fine. We're glad you're joining. Thank you for being here.
You can always watch these back.
Yeah.
You can always watch these back from the beginning. I mean, they're still shows. I mean, they're not going away. They'll be on the YouTube channel, which everyone should subscribe to, by the way. You can just go and watch them.
Another comment, we still have a bunch of Twitter questions to get to, but keep those comments coming in. What website do you recommend for moderate startup Superflex for newer Dynasty players?
Website? what do they mean? Platform?
Yeah, I'm assuming this means platform.
Platform.
My fantasy league, sleeper. Which one do you think is
newer? Would be sleeper.
Yeah, I think sleeper for newer.
Really, I would say when it comes to MFL, I don't like. I mean, I don't want to say I don't like it, but none of the formats I like are worth the money. It's not worth it to play on MFL. I don't play the complicated formats. I don't play contracts. I don't even know what else you really need MFL for, but I've never found that it's worth the money. So I tend to prefer Sleeper. Sleeper is my primary platform for doing things. Most of my patrons are on Sleeper as well. Almost actually every single one of them use Sleeper. So just to give an idea of what newer or, that those people are doing, it's all Sleeper. So yeah, I would say Sleeper if you're newer. MFL is complicated. They need to create a real mobile app very soon. Otherwise, they're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
They need a real mobile app. You're not going to survive. You're not going to survive without a native mobile app in today's world. You're just not.
There's so much about MFL that I do like, but the lack of a good mobile app option does hurt it.
You won't survive.
Right.
You will not survive without one. As someone with a background in sports management and master's degree in that subject, you won't survive without one. So that would be my recommendation to MFL. They need a real mobile app, and they need it now. They needed it 2 years ago.
We're now less than 10 minutes from starting the process of giving away that Scott Fishbowl invitation. So hang in there. We're getting there. Back to some Twitter questions.
Oh, Ed.
France.
I love Ed.
How do you know when is the right/wrong time to trade in Dynasty? Should we always be on the lookout to make a move, or are there certain windows we should try to hit harder?
There's no wrong time to trade. So I'll just get that out of the way right now. With that said, you should be extra active during the times where everyone's there. During the rookie draft, you should be checking in more than now. Now you don't need to spend you don't need to check the league every day. Not much changed, but there's no wrong time to trade. I will say that certain times are harder to trade than others. This is one of the hardest. Nobody ever wants to trade in late May, June. No one trades during this time. It's just this is when a lot of people take a break after rookie drafts. They take a month break and then they come back when training camps and preseason kind of kick into high gear. That lasted a lot longer last year because of COVID, because there was nothing before the regular season. This year, I think you'll see people start to come back earlier. Last year, I feel like people didn't come back till the last week of August. This year, I feel like people are going to come back more mid-July. You're going to start to see the activity again. But yeah, that's my answer. And yes, Josh is correct that it's always the right time to trade. And if you're in an active enough league, there will always be people to trade. But I often find myself that I did all of my business during the rookie draft, and I just find that I often don't have any moves I'm desperate to make right now. So I made them all already. We have a super chat. You're muted.
Dang it, I did it again.
We have a super chat.
Remind me, we need a sound, something like a ding or something to go off when this comes up. Colvin, we really appreciate your support. And look, you guys don't have to do this, but this really is a great way that shows our bosses you guys like what we're doing. We're putting in a lot of work to try and do everything we can to support you guys. So you do this, you can subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, leave a like, all those, share it with your friends. All those things will really help us for sure support what we're doing, because we're here to support you. We're working hard. We're getting close to giving away our Scott Fishbowl invite. Colvin asked, my 7 years redraft league at work just turned into Dynasty, and I wish I would have found this channel before the startup draft. Really, really appreciate you, Colvin.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I will say that we will be here every week to answer your questions. It's not just this week, every week. And yeah, this channel is great. It's not just us. Addison does a great job creating videos every day, and people should watch those. Not enough people do. And I would suggest doing that. Yeah.
Colin, pick a number 1 to 15 and put it down there in the comments, and that's going to help us with our giveaway here.
Oh, can I go on a rant? Put up the next comment.
Okay, hang on. No. Let me remove that. Okay, good.
Put up
Yeah,
the next
all right.
comment.
Do you cap number of quarterbacks drafted in startup superflex league for a 14 team league? Hang on. I don't know what you're going to say, but I so hope what you're going to say is what I agree with, because I'm very passionate about the answer to this. Go ahead.
Absolutely not.
Thank
This
you.
is ridiculous. This
Thank
is
you.
ridiculous. No. I hate any artificial caps on the number of players you can have at a certain position. I rail on this constantly. This is ridiculous. Absolutely not. I would refuse to play in any league that had any sort of rule like this. And I would tell people to leave any leagues that had rules like this. It's so bad. It ruins everything for trading. It completely messes up the league. This is one of those things where I break my rule of, typically my rule is let people play in the formats they want, whatever is the most fun. Not for this. This is so bad that it actively hurts what I find to be, and I think people find to be, fun so badly that I cannot condone anyone playing in leagues with roster caps. It's not Dynasty. It's not Dynasty. So hard no to this question. And absolutely not. You should let people build their rosters however they want. If someone wants to be what I would call stupid and take 8 quarterbacks, let them be stupid and take 8 quarterbacks. I don't care. That's their problem. Let them do it. Let them ruin their own roster. That's their problem. They'll let them not have any running backs, wide receivers, or tight ends. Let them do it. Let them do it. You don't have to trade with them. You don't have to trade for their quarterbacks. You can be just as obnoxious about it as they are. They stockpiled the quarterbacks. What if you have all the running backs? They don't have any running backs. Maybe eventually they'll realize what they've done. So no, absolutely no hard caps on anything ever. I that's very strongly about that.
I'm 100% with you. Todd agrees. Caps are stupid. Mr. Roethlisberger
Don't get me started.
What if someone has 8 kickers, though?
Why do you have kickers in a dynasty league? There should not be kickers. Kickers don't belong in a dynasty league. Kickers are I don't want to say kickers are stupid, because there are some people who like them, but I'll say that kickers are stupid. So I just said it anyway. I think kickers are stupid. I don't think they belong in a dynasty league. In a redraft league, I still think they're stupid, but I'm willing to live with them. They are in Scott Fishbowl. I probably won't be drafting any of them. But yes, kickers are people too, but I don't have to play with them in my fantasy leagues. So just because they're people too doesn't mean I want to play with them. I don't enjoy kickers. That's just not what I enjoy. So I don't want them in my leagues personally. That's just my opinion. Other people can disagree. But that's my opinion on kickers. And put up the comment before that.
I will just say, this reminds me, Big Ben here sticking up for kickers. This reminds me that, I don't know if you saw this, but like there's this video going around of this 17-year-old girl pushing a grizzly bear, and in a group chat, G-Ben J was taking up for the grizzly bear. You can't be pro grizzly bear. Look, you can't be pro kicker here, real Big Ben. You just can't do it.
Go back to that. Yes, the stream won't be happening every single Tuesday until forever.
Yeah.
Forever. It's going to be happening forever.
It's never stopping.
No, it's actually never stopping. I mean, I said we would do it for the whole off season and the entire regular season, but I'm not necessarily planning to stop it after the regular season ends. If it's going well at that point, we'll continue. So we don't have any plans to stop it. And, in the event, and this show is also not going to be dependent on the two of us.
Right.
This show will happen every week, even if we have to bring in a substitute for one of the two of us, because I'm sure that that's going to happen from time to time.
Can you tell my friends this, Tyler? I've been trying to get them out of my home league for years.
Send them to me. I'll yell at them.
I'm gonna lock it up, which is the best name, by the way. I like the kicker spot in Dynasty League, even though they're stupid because it's a free waiver wire space. That's true. If you're not using it that way, you should be.
Whatever.
Okay. So we had, let me get back to it. Colwyn said 12. So we are going to now go into, we're going to have 2 heats for this. That's how many we have.
Oh my God.
This is a
what is this?
100-yard dash.
What?
On the left side, we have 24 of the people who got in. We do have another 19. I think actually 20. So yeah, we do have another 20. We've shuffled it 12 times since Colwyn said 12. And we're going to click through here and we are going to start things off. Just all normal settings, and we're going to start the dash. So as this goes, you're going to be able to see who's in the lead and who ultimately wins the first heat. Now, we're going to have 2 different heats.
Oh my
And
God.
the winner of this one is going to face the winner of the next heat. So
I love this.
you can watch this, follow along. I don't know, play your bets, whatever you're going to do. Yeah, this is about to be magnificent. It absolutely
And
is.
the runners are off. They're going. They're going. Yay.
We have 24.
Moving. Okay, it looks like
FF Rebel is in the lead
FF
right
Rebel
now.
is in the lead.
Yes.
FF Rebel is pulling away from the field, but Dynasty Pidions is making a comeback. Oh, he's taking the lead.
Stoney is way back there. Come on, Stoney. Pick it up.
Oh, no.
Pick it up. FF Mike, real fantasy god. Come on.
Oh, put up that last comment. Benny Snail. Yes. Snail. We know what I think about those Steelers running backs. We know what their nicknames are. What are their nicknames? What are their other nicknames?
Oh, Dynasty Pidions.
Dynasty Pidions. Oh, Crescent was second. I think that's
all
Crescent.
right. So Dynasty Pidions, he is going to be in the second heat.
Okay, wait. Bonus points for the chat while we see that. So I just said Benny Snail was my nickname for Benny Snell. Who's paid a lot of attention? Does anyone know my nicknames for Anthony McFarland and Kalen Balaj? What are their nicknames?
Is it failure? It's not failure.
Yeah. Well, sort of.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so while I set this next one up, you give me just a second.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is actually failure. Anthony McFailure. That's right. Anthony McFailure. Well, no, he's Benny Snail because I thought that was better. And also failure was already used by McFailure. Anthony McFailure.
The chat's on fire. You guys are great.
Garbage.
Amazing.
That's a little cruel.
Okay.
But I did say someone thought that my answer to the Texans question earlier was trash. And I posted a GIF of Oscar. And this is probably going to be a little much for the show, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Oh Lord.
Cal is scared. He doesn't know what's about to happen.
While you're doing that, I'm setting up the second heat.
Oh, look, it's Oscar. And
oh God.
It's Oscar. Oscar and his trash can. So Oscar made a guest appearance on the show.
Oh man,
Cal was scared. He didn't know what was going to happen.
I was a little scared.
But yes, I love the word trash. It's one of my favorite words. So I might have to work trash into one of our segments.
Okay.
Did we load the second one?
I'm setting the second one up now. While I set the second one up, let's take a couple of questions. This one should be easy, and we'll go to the next one. RFL Red Zone. Choose between Kellen Mond, Kyle Trask, or Davis Mills. I'm guessing that's who that is.
What he means. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll add in Ian Book. Which one do you think is gonna? Do you think any of them have a chance to be a fantasy stud?
No. No.
The end.
The end. No.
Okay. Joe says, besides doing fantasy football, this is a good question, and earning a gazillion dollars from it from your Patreon, what was your dream job as a child? Not now, as a child.
I'm not sure I had a dream job, actually. It was, I don't know if I want, honestly, it was probably just getting paid to do nothing. I would have loved that. Just get paid a lot of money to do absolutely nothing at all. That would just be great. And that's my answer to that question. I didn't really have a dream job. There wasn't anything that I really dreamed to do.
I wanted to be a baseball player. That was always my.
That does not surprise me.
I'm Cal. I'll always look up to Cal Ripken. I was a shortstop. I wanted to be a shortstop like him. I always wore number 8 because I thought he was awesome. And so that was my dream job as a child.
Yeah.
Never anything that was like a. I mean, that's a real job, but I never had anything that was like a real job that I dreamed of. Okay, talk about Chase Edmonds. What do you expect from him, dynasty wise?
I mean, I don't expect much. A lot of people do. I don't. I'm not a big fan of his. So yeah, I'm not expecting all that much, to be honest. I think you're going to get some flex numbers this season, and then he's a free agent, and I don't think they're going to re-sign him.
How about let's go to Raiders wide receivers. Which Raider wide receiver has the most value at current ADP?
Most value? What are their current ADPs? Like, I actually think both Henry Ruggs and Bryan Edwards are values at their current ADP. I mean, yeah.
And let's move on. Secret Squirrel. In a progressive struggle rebuild, does it make sense to sell pieces like DK Metcalf for picks while their value is high to extract the most return and decreasing chance of winning?
DK Metcalf is a little too young and a little too high valued for me to want to do that. And I also think his value is kind of at a lull right now. So I would say no. I would not want to sell DK Metcalf. He's the kind of piece I'd want to build around. Yes, I know he's going to score points, but if you just trade away all of your young players for picks, you're not going to have anything left. So that's the kind of player I'd want to build around. So I would say no.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be productive struggle. I think is the
that's correct. Yes,
the correct term. And DK Metcalf is the kind of piece that you want to build around in a productive struggle. Like he's the guy that you want to have. He's a young wide receiver. You want to do what Tyler was talking about earlier: is look at the ages of your team, sell off older pieces, sell off your running backs. Build those dynasty assets that are going to maintain value for a longer time. That's what you want to try and build around, and get draft picks.
Yeah, if the question were Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley, Stephon Diggs, I would say yes, but not DK Metcalf.
What are the most important things you look for when trying to find your favorite sleepers?
Path to opportunity, value. They're not being drafted that high. Those are the main two.
Good answer. I'm still setting this up. I'm almost done. Since kickers are in SFB 11, what's your preferred strategy on them from a dynasty standpoint? We talked about this.
Not having them in my leagues.
Do you have a Scott Fish kicker strategy?
I haven't gotten around to that yet.
Okay. Any thoughts? Early thoughts? Anything that you think might be helpful for the people?
No. You will not hear me give any helpful thoughts on kickers at any time ever. So if the people are looking for that, the people will be disappointed.
Go look up Linda Lyons.
I would highly suggest that, by the way. Do go follow Lindelians, I think is how that's pronounced.
Yeah.
Lindelians. Go follow her. She provides a lot of useful information on kickers, and I provide useless information on kickers because I hate them.
Man, we're rolling right through these. Let's talk Bengals wide receivers. Higgins was a rookie star. Chase is a generational talent. Boyd is a top slot wide receiver in the league. Are there enough balls to go around? We did talk about this. Go ahead and tell us what you think.
This question we get all the time. I've answered this question probably 100 times. I would say in general, yes, but someone's going to suffer. You're not going to have 3 wide receiver 2s or better. That's happened like once ever, and it's not going to happen here. So, yeah, someone's going to suffer. I think it's going to be Boyd because he's not special. He's just okay. And the other 2 are, as you said, they're as you described. Higgins was a rookie star and Chase is a generational talent. That's accurate. Boyd, a top slot wide receiver in the league. I think he's been a top slot wide receiver in the league for volume. I actually don't think he's been one of the best slot wide receivers in the league. So, nah. I think Boyd is going to be the one who loses out. And I think it's very possible that both Chase and Higgins have big seasons. That's actually what I'm projecting, to be honest.
We are ready for our second heat here. Shuffle it 12 times again, just like Colvin asked. So without further ado, this is the second heat, and you're going to go up one-on-one with the winner from the first one, which I gotta go look. But here we go. Starting the run. 3, 2, 1, go. The winner of this is going to face the winner from the first heat. FF Sandman jumps out to a lead.
Oh, Britt.
Let's see. We got Paco.
Let's see what's going on. Let's see if he can hold the lead. There's a lot of names I recognize in here.
Yeah, there was a lot of them in this one. Okay.
Also, chat, if you want to ask me more questions, please do. I'll take them, especially if they, are interesting and also potentially might get me to go on a rant. I think that's what the people really want.
We are dangerously close to going into a final heat right here. FF Sandman way ahead of oh my gosh, FF Sandman first place by a lot right there. FF Sandman, he is Britt Sanders. Pumped to have him in the finals here. That's a good dude. Okay. Give me just a second.
I'm not answering that last question. I'm not answering that.
Okay. Let's go back.
Put it up on the screen.
Okay.
I'm going to give a different answer. I know my hair is that beautiful and I have to keep my secrets. Next question.
Okay. Hang on. We're almost there. We got Dynasty Pigeons. Pigeons?
It's
Pigeons?
on Kyle Pitts.
Oh.
Pigeons.
Okay.
Yeah. This was like a thing. Remember Dynasty Jacobians?
No. Yes.
That's true. Bon Jovi would be very jealous of my hair because I believe Bon Jovi is really old. How old is Bon Jovi? Old, right?
Really old.
Yeah, very old.
He was old like when I was a kid.
I mean, as we all know, Cal just turned 30. So, he wouldn't know how anything about Bon Jovi.
Okay, so the way I had to do this here, I've got you can't do it with less than 6. So you got to have 6. So I got 3 Dynasty Pigeons, whatever you are. I got 3 of Britt, the FF Sandman.
So whoever wins
12 times, just like Colvin told us.
Winner take all.
This is winner take. Whoever wins this, there are 3 FF Sandman, 3 Dynasty Pigeons. We're gonna do the same thing. All the standard settings. We are gonna start the rush. The winner of this is going to Scott Fishbowl. 11.
Also, no one got Kalen Balage's nickname. The chat failed us.
Here we go. Chat,
you failed us on Kalen Balage's nickname.
What is Kalen Balage's nickname? Okay.
Come on, chat.
Dynasty Pigeons.
I know someone knows it. I don't think I mentioned that as many times as the others.
This is really exciting. Come on, Britt. You gotta hustle there, buddy.
Hey, we don't have a rooting interest here.
They're so far behind.
Yeah, but the Pigeons red is like stuck. It's stuck.
Oh, it is slowing down. It's over the 50. The 45.
Oh my
40.
God. I can't deal with this.
The 35. Let's see. Cheering for Pigeons number 2 and Sandman number 3 only.
Oh my God.
We got some more questions coming into the chat. We're going to get right back to those as soon as this spot is given away.
Ooh, I like this nickname for Kalen Balazs better. Kalen Balazs.
I like that.
Kalen Garbage. That's so mean.
And I think, Dynasty Pigeons.
Pigeons is the winner.
He gets in there. So, hey, you've got a spot.
All right, we should
Scott
tell
Fishbowl.
How do we? I guess I'll tell Scott, right?
I'll send a DM to Scott on that. So now, one thing, Dynasty Pigeons, if you're watching this, make sure you're signed up for Scott Fishbowl. Like
that would be a problem.
if he looks it up and you're not, we got to go to the next guy. It'll have to go to the FF Sandman, but make sure you've got time before we send your name in. Make sure that you go sign up because that is an important part of this. We got some good nicknames in here. We got some other questions. Just want to say, Tyler, how's it feel to give away a spot to SFB 11? I'm pretty pumped about that.
Oh, it feels great. I always like seeing people get included who weren't before. I don't know Dynasty Pidians, but I've seen his account, but I don't remember hearing anything about him playing in SFB in the past. So I assume this is his first time. And I always love seeing that. People getting there. I remember what it felt like to play the first time for me. I was very excited. It was Absolutely. I don't know. So that's a great feeling.
And if you're watching this and you have not gotten your invitation yet, just go check in your junk mail. Make sure, because the first time, like when I got my offer in or my letter in, whatever it is, invitation.
What is this, Hogwarts?
The first round went out. It was in my junk mail. Like everybody was posting that they got in. I was like, dang, I didn't get in. And I went and checked my junk mail, and sure enough, it was sitting right there. But I felt bad about myself for like 2 hours. So make sure you check your junk mail. We're gonna go right back in.
There were a lot of questions.
Our questions that keep coming in. We have so many. We're right here for you. We're going to answer a bunch of them. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, you can get questions in for next week by putting them in the comment below. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like the video. All those things that are going to help us. If you're in the comments, we're here for you. We're going to take as many of these questions as we can. We'll jump back over to Twitter here in just a second, but we're going to take care of you guys that are making the commitment to be here with us. We'll jump in with Skit, Dynasty Startup, Superflex. Who would you want to build your team around? I have the 10th pick in a 12-man Dynasty.
That's not where I want to be. That's not where I want to be because I'm probably not going to get one of those top 7 quarterbacks. I'd probably trade down. I probably wouldn't want to make the 10th pick. I would want to trade that down for some sort of value to get more picks in the middle rounds so I can get more quarterbacks in the middle. I cannot imagine anyone that I've ever worked with who's had a pick, 8 to 12 has not made that first round pick unless one of the quarterbacks fell. And again, those 7 quarterbacks, Mahomes won't be there, but the other 6, Kyler, Allen, Prescott, Jackson, Lawrence, and Herbert. If you can't get one of those guys at 110, I would just trade back. If one of them falls, I'd take them.
That's good. I do think trading back is good. In my opinion, trading back is really good in a startup at all. But I've really loved the teams that I've done that productive struggle. We had that question that came in about that. I've loved the teams that I've done
That's
that with.
That's something you can do.
Yeah. This would be a good spot probably to do that.
Well, you could do that. You could trade the 110 for a mid third round startup pick and 2022 and 2023 firsts.
Right.
That's the kind of crazy stuff I see happen.
Yes.
So you could get 2 additional future firsts for going from the late first to mid third.
Yes.
I have seen that exact thing happen before. So it is possible. It does happen. And that starts you on your productive struggle.
BV have one up there about people prognosticating on future draft classes. Is he saying I missed a
we missed one? Someone asked a question. Actually, we missed a lot of questions earlier.
Really?
Yeah, we missed a good amount.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Found it. First year in Dynasty with people hyping up the 2023 class. Is it historically a good bet to believe draft classes a year or 2 out can be roughly predicted? What do you think, Tyler? I have comments on this.
Yes, but it's not perfect is my answer to that question. Everyone was hyping the 2020 class 2 years out and they were right. But people were pretty high on the 2021 class and they were, I would say for the most part, not right. The wide receiver class in 2021 completely failed to deliver outside of Jamar Chase for what I wanted. I was told this is one of the best wide receiver classes ever, and that is not what I got. So they were totally wrong about that. And then the 2019 class, everyone said it was awful. Everyone said it was awful, one of the worst classes ever, and that's not true at all. You had A.J. Brown in that class. You had DK Metcalf in that class. Just you had, whatever Miles Sanders was, David Montgomery was, Josh Jacobs was. They had all of them have had RB1 performances at times in their first 2 years in the league. You didn't have the top 3 running backs were all actually pretty good. So people were not right about that. So I would say yes, but be careful. Also, predicting top quarterbacks is something people tend to get right. People knew that Trevor Lawrence, when you have a Trevor Lawrence, you usually know about it years in advance. You know that that's coming sometimes. And, I don't know of what's going on in the 2023 class of quarterbacks, but there's no one like that I've heard of. There's no one like that ever. But, the answer is yes, but don't overreact to it.
And it depends on what you mean. I think that if you're saying roughly predicted, yes, I think there is some level of deviation that is you could say 2 years out can be roughly predicted, right? It's not exact, and there's gonna be a lot of things wrong. But here's one of the things that I think is important to remember. People are hyping up the 2023 class, and that's not going to stop. Those picks are going to maintain value. And one of the things I like about picks is they're the surest thing on your roster to not lose value. Assets that are players are much more likely or capable of losing value than picks are. So in thinking about draft picks in the future, those are safer bets. Now that's more from if I'm rebuilding or whatever it is type of a mindset. But I do like thinking about if I hear a class like 2023 is going to be amazing, adding in a 2023 third, 2023 second, something like that on top of a trade that's pretty close already is what I like to try to do.
Yeah, but I think that the 2022 picks are the undervalued ones now. Mm-hmm. They're trading on close to even value with the 2023s, which is crazy. I want the player now. I want the pick now. I don't want to wait for a potentially better class later. That is always a bad idea. So I would be targeting 2022 picks right now, since everyone says the class is horrible, and they don't have any clue how horrible the class is going to be. They have no idea. It's much easier for players to emerge out of nowhere and become valuable, and the class to become better than we think, than the other way around. So I would trade for 2022 picks. There's a bunch of other questions under this one that we missed as well.
Yeah, I'm getting to them now. By the way, these names are fantastic. Maltastic Gaming Squad.
I do like that.
Great. Taking Fields or Trey Lance at 202 in a 1 QB Dynasty rookie draft. Is that too early?
No, it's about right. No, that's about right. That's about right.
In a 1 QB. I could even see with those guys at the very, very end of the first. I could even see that depending on your situation and how deep the league is. But 202 seems right.
Seems fine to me. I have 12 guys that I clearly prefer. And then that's kind of where it becomes a debate for me. So,
Curious your reaction on this question. I like it. I'm a contender, Andrew says. Should I trade Myles Gaskin for a 2022 first? It should be a late one. He's pretty confident about what he's going to be.
So you're a contender, but trading Gaskin away? That's interesting. In a super flex, I'd do this no matter what. In a super flex, just give me the 2022 first no matter what. In the 1 QB, if I were really a great team, I might take my chances with Gaskin, but I'm the kind of person who would just take the first anyway. But the value's about right. In a 1 QB, Gaskin's equivalent in value to a 2022 first, more or less.
Yeah, I think a first round pick I would rather have than Gaskin.
But if it's a late first in the 2022 class in a 1 QB, it's not going to be that good.
Here's a question that I know you'll like. Carson Wentz plus a first or Deshaun Watson?
Well, Mr. Tony E., I don't know if you've listened to me on previous shows, but what do we think my evaluation of Carson Wentz's 2020 season is? Let's see. Could a word that starts with F? The word that starts with F failure. Big, and actually, I think it's the ultimate failure. He was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league last year. I don't want any part of Carson Wentz at all. So just give me Watson.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is not a guy I want to be investing in right now.
Let's look. Oh, put up the next comment. The next comment from the same person. The next comment about that.
Oh, down at the bottom.
Well, right above a fantastic failure. A top 12 quarterback. Top 12. Top 12. You're lucky if he's top 20. Top 12? No. How is he going to be top 12? What receiving weapons does he have that are going to make him top 12? What weapons does he have? How's he going to be top 12? Tell me. Explain to me. Does he still run the ball? I don't think so. I don't remember him running the ball. I remember him running outside of the pocket and getting absolutely obliterated and fumbling the ball. I remember him leading the league in sacks. I remember multiple plays last year. The ball is here. He's throwing it. And there are receivers. Actually, there's no receiver there. There are just defenders, multiple defenders. He's like running over here and running this way. And I have no idea what he was doing. I tried to think about it. And I was like, what was he thinking here? Like JT screens, unfortunately, there's not going to be enough of those to matter. And remember also that screens are not that good for the quarterback's fantasy points. They're great for the running back, but they actually don't get a lot of yards. So that's more helpful to the running backs totals than they are to the quarterbacks. I am very, very concerned about Carson Wentz. I think that he's going to take the entire offense and just kind of put it in a poop ice cream sundae. That's what I think it's going to be. An ice cream sundae of poop. A disaster is coming. I see people saying that Wentz is going to bounce back. I don't understand where they get that idea. Why now? Why is he suddenly going to bounce back now? I must be missing something.
There's this narrative that there are certain people that can just fix people that are broken, and they think Frank Reich can just fix Carson Wentz.
No, it doesn't work that way.
I think people are going to be in for a rude awakening.
Put up the last comment. The one. Yes, hammer the under. I see that the win totals are 10.5. Why is Carson Wentz led team going to get that many wins? No way. Hammer the under. I don't understand it. I think this is going to be a disaster. Personally, I think it's going to be so bad. I don't believe that Frank Reich is going to make Carson Wentz throw the ball better. I don't want to hear about, he looks good in camp throwing the ball far. Yeah, he looks good when there's no defense. I feel like a lot of quarterbacks would look good when there's no defense, but a lot of the problem was that he didn't evade the rush at all last year. He just kept taking sacks, kept throwing interceptions, put a little bit of pressure on him and see how he does. See if the ball looks so good. So I think it's going to be a disaster. Oh, and about this last comment about the Indianapolis having a better O-line than Philly, a lot of the time when he ran out of the pocket, there was no pressure at all. He just decided that he was going to leave the pocket and then just ran into the defenders. So that's not the offensive line's fault. That's his horrible decision-making. He has a problem up here in his brain that causes him not to play quarterback well. So I don't think any coach is going to fix that. I'm totally out on Carson Wentz. No interest at all.
Yeah, sometimes we can talk ourselves into things, and this happens a lot. We talk ourselves into a coach, like, oh, he had a good year in 2017.
No.
The O-line's better. But just go. You brought me on to the YouTube video of him playing in 2020.
Oh, yes.
Just go watch
that video. Search Carson Wentz lowlights, and you tell me, you watch the video and try to explain to me on some of those plays. Give a generous explanation of what you thought the plan was on that play, what he was supposed to be doing, because I cannot figure it out. I have no idea what he was thinking. None.
So Alex chimes in, would you keep Brian Edwards or the 3-6? We haven't drafted, but I run to a roster crunch every season. 10-team start, 9. 10-team start 9, Superflex PPR, 3 wide receivers. Big contender, but still have to make a choice at the back. So Brian Edwards or the 3-6.
Take Edwards. I still take Edwards.
Unless this is like a keeper thing where there's you're only keeping 10 or something like that. I can't quite tell with the question, but yeah, Brian Edwards has more potential than whoever you're going to get at the 3-6 right there.
Agreed.
Pick number 3 and number 6 in 1 QB. I'm thinking Najee Harris and Etienne will go 1-2. I want Pitts, but I only have 2 viable starting running backs. I'm worried about fear of missing out if Javonte is gone before 6. What do you think?
Chase at 3. That's what I think.
Because what's the mantra you have to live by?
Draft for value, trade for need.
Bingo. You don't have to set a lineup for like 3 months, guys. It's
not
okay.
only that, right? Like Jamar Chase is excellent. Kyle Pitts, for him to hit above Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts would have to have Travis Kelce's career. And that's possible, but you know, who knows? I think that I'm very high on Kyle Pitts, but you know, I'm not just willing to hand him Travis Kelce's career. You know, I'm willing to hand him, like, I don't have a good example, but like Darren Waller type seasons, a few of those. You know, if that's his peak, I'm willing to say he's going to do that. And that's why I have Pitts above Waller in Dynasty, because he's a lot younger. But to tell me that he's going to be Travis Kelce, that I'm not willing to say.
If you're still with us or you're watching this on the replay, we gave away a spot just a little ways back.
Oh, I went to Dynasty Pidions, which is interesting.
We're
just talking about Kyle Pitts.
Ryan chimes in. Next year, we could have a competitive Uno game. That would be interesting. I'm going to lock it up. Congratulates Dynasty Pidions.
I feel sadly like the acceptance post.
That's pretty good.
That's okay.
Kalen Garbage? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ryan and Debbie, which, by the way, go check out Ryan McDowell, not McDonald, Ryan McDowell's post and get in on the Debbie League, Ryan, because it sounds like you are interested in those things. So go get in on that. You could get a free membership to DLF by doing that. If those 2022 quarterbacks break out this year, those picks will be worth a lot more than they are now. That's true. You don't know what's going to happen in this next college season. It could end up being a lot more value. And that's kind of alluding to the point you made before.
Yeah. Breakouts happen every year. I mean, Joe Burrow was nobody, and then he was the number 1 pick the next year. So that happens.
Talk a little bit about...
I don't think this has been covered heavily.
Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. What do you think about their connection?
I'm not sure I've covered this heavily at all. I am fine with it, I guess. Yeah, I'm not very enthusiastic. But it is what it is. Yeah, that's my take. Like the other top wide receivers, Jalen Waddle went to Tua, who I don't like, and Rashad Bateman went to the Ravens, who don't pass the ball at all. So, I mean, since I didn't like anyone's landing spot, I just went back to who produced the most in college, and Devonta Smith.
Good times. Tua, speaking of him,
oh boy,
for 1 QB and 2 QB dynasty leagues, top 10 potential or overhyped child of Satan or Satan.
Top 10 potential? No, he doesn't have any top 10 potential at all. No. We had a whole year of failure. The Dolphins, I've said this many times, the Dolphins purposely played the worst quarterback. They gave themselves less of a chance of winning to put Tua on the field. A big mistake. I think they regret it, actually. I think they wish they had just stuck with Fitzpatrick and just not played Tua at all. We saw a lot of failure from Tua. So, no, I don't think Tua has top 10 potential at all. I think that he's going to be a perennial QB2 in Superflex. And 1 QB the same. I rank him as QB 19. I'm really not interested.
Okay, I'm going to completely disagree with you, Tyler.
You can do that.
I love Tua.
Well, that's unfortunate.
And, I get it. Everything you're saying, I can't, it's hard to argue fully, but here's what I think about with Tua. He's got the prospect pedigree. He's a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. That's a good sign. Now, Miami, over the offseason, every move they made, yes, there were rumors, but every move they made actually shows a backing of Tua. They didn't re-sign Ryan Fitzpatrick. They could have. They didn't. They added offensive weapons. They added Fuller. They added Waddle. Even a third round pass catching tight end. They let go of Chan Gailey, who I think was a big part of holding back Tua. His offense was built for Ryan Fitzpatrick, not for Tua. There's just the new offense. Everything is saying like it's being built around what his strengths are. And by the way, he's finally healthy. Like none of us really expected him to contribute last year.
Is he healthy?
Anyway, he needed a year to get healthy.
What if he's never the same? What if he's never the same?
It's possible, but reports are that
I will tell you something. I think that if Deshaun Watson had not had his legal problems, Deshaun Watson would be on the Miami Dolphins right now. That's how committed to Tua I think they were. Oh, they were so committed to him. They were not committed to him at all. They were committed to him because they had no choice. They were committed to him because they had no choice. They didn't have a choice. They backed into it because they wanted Deshaun Watson. They were desperate. They were willing to do whatever it took to get Deshaun Watson. And then there were, Deshaun Watson's issues and they couldn't acquire him. But I guarantee you, if Deshaun Watson were available today, if Deshaun Watson were cleared of all of his, issues today, guarantee you GM Chris Greer would pick up the phone right now. He would call now because Tua is boring. He's boring. He's whatever. Deshaun Watson is a superstar. You're telling me I could give up on boring whatever for a proven superstar? That's what I would do. So they have a team ready to win now, and I think Tua is what's holding them back. So Tua would be on the Texans. That's what would have happened. So, yeah, they're very committed to him. I don't think so. I think that if Deshaun Watson's issues clear up, that he could still be traded to the Dolphins. He could still be traded to the Dolphins at whatever time those issues are cleared up. If it's next year, it'll be next year. Because I think that no matter how well Tua plays, you telling me that you wouldn't rather have Deshaun Watson? I would rather have Deshaun Watson than Tua.
But that's how many teams would not prefer Deshaun Watson? And in a world where none of this stuff came out, he's better than.
But they expressed
29 teams.
Interest. They were so interested. There was every day was about how interested the Dolphins were in.
Well, of course,
Deshaun
because he's Deshaun Watson, but that doesn't make Tua bad.
It means that they were
looking an upgrade at that position.
They were looking for a way out.
Hate the guy they currently have. They
were
still
looking
went
for a
out and
way
built
out.
an offense around him and added a bunch.
What
of
are you
weapons
supposed
for
to
him.
do? Not put weapons around your quarterback? Like, what are you supposed to do? Not try to win, right? Like, are you supposed to try to lose? What will you have to do?
Drafted a quarterback too. That's the other thing that they did that showed faith in him is they moved around so they could get either Chase or Waddle. That's what they said ultimately they were trying to do.
I get it, but I just think that they didn't. I think they felt the same way that the other NFL teams wrongly felt about this quarterback class, that only Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson were worth taking. I think they agreed with that. I disagree. I think that they should have just not traded in the first place and taken Justin Fields at the third overall. That's what I would have done if I had been them and just shipped Tua off. If I had been them, that's what I would have done. But, they didn't do that. And, I think they're going to regret that when they see Justin Fields play really well and we get more boring Tua over the next couple of years. I have no interest in him at all. I think that he is an immobile quarterback. People think that Tua is some sort of mobile quarterback. He really wasn't. Was he mobile before? No. And now he's not going to be mobile. And if you're not mobile and you don't have a good deep ball, I don't want you. Where's your fantasy upside? He has no fantasy upside. So I have no interest in Tua at all. I don't really understand it personally. I don't. There's something about him that I just don't get. So I'm totally out. And I think that there's a good chance that his career as a starting quarterback in the NFL is not as long as people think. Personally,
Travis Kelce trade value right now.
I don't know how to answer that. That's a very difficult question. Like, trade value in terms of what? Like, he's my dynasty tight end 2 behind Kittle, but Travis Kelce doesn't have a real trade value. If you're a contender and you have Travis Kelce, you keep him. If you're not, then you get rid of him.
So one of the ways that this question can be answered is by being a premium subscriber to DynastyLeagueFootball.com.
Trade analyzer.
And you can find the trade finder, trade analyzer. You can look at all that and figure out exactly what he's going for right now. I just pulled up most recent trade. He went for a 2022 first and a 2023 first. So 2 first.
That doesn't help though, because Travis Kelce's trade value, it's one thing if you're a contender and a completely different thing if you're not. So the trade finder is not going to help you with this question. Like,
think it could give you a decent idea.
It'll give you an idea, but that's not really what you want to do here. That works better for younger players that are not way over the value cliff. It doesn't do as well with players that are over the value cliff because those are valued very differently based on your situation. Essentially, my answer to this question is exactly what I said. If you are trying to win, do not trade Travis Kelce at any price. He provides you a positional advantage that you cannot acquire otherwise. Do not trade him. If you are rebuilding, get him off your team immediately to the highest bidder. It's A or B. A or B. There's no middle ground here. A or B. It's one of those two situations. There's no middle.
True or false? Travis Kelce's trade value is the highest it's ever going to be again.
Oh, that's obviously true. But just given his age, that's the case. I wonder if I know Travis Kelce's birthday, but I won't put myself on the spot because I'm not 100% sure. October 89. October 89.
Now I'm gonna have to pull it up. Okay.
I think it's October 89, but you can check that.
I'm gonna check that. While we're checking that, let's go on to the next one here from Twitter at Stony326. What are some vets you are trading away in Dynasty? Name a few players that you're targeting in trade. So
trading away and players I'm targeting.
Yeah.
So vets I'm trading away. I mean, we just named one, Travis Kelce. If I'm in any sort of if I don't have one of the best teams in the league, I'm trading him away. Devontae Adams. I would like Devontae Adams off my team. I just saw him in a DLF startup mock, at ADP mock go in the first round. That is absolutely insane. Do not do that. Please don't do that if you're listening to this show. Aaron Rodgers is about to leave him, and I want him off my team before that becomes official. So, yeah, Aaron Rodgers I want Aaron Rodgers I also would like to trade, but Devontae Adams I want off my team entirely in Dynasty. Dalvin Cook. I'd like to get rid of Dalvin Cook. I don't want to be the one holding the bag on Dalvin Cook. He was the 4th overall player in May's 1 QB ADP. I don't want him as my 4th overall player. So he's gone. You'll notice a pattern here. It's all older players that I would like to get rid of. Miles Sanders. There's a not as old player I'd like to get rid of. I don't believe in Miles Sanders. I don't think Miles Sanders is ever going to be a workhorse. I'm not a fan. I don't think he's very good. He's fine, but he's just fine. He's more similar to me. They're not the same type of player, but he reminds me a lot of the same guys from his class, Montgomery and Jacobs. I think that they're different players, but they're all good, but not great. They're serviceable, they're good starters, but they're not special. And I see them all kind of the same way, even though they have different skill sets. I see them in the same kind of value range. And I think that for some people, Sanders' value is way higher. So he's someone I would get rid of. Players I'm targeting. Good question. Veterans. Usually I tend to target young players. Terry McLaurin is a player I'm targeting. Terry McLaurin. I think that people don't really value him as a wide receiver one. I think differently. I think that he's the clear alpha on that team. I'm not worried about Curtis Samuel. I'm not worried about De'Ami Brown. Those are far inferior talents. And we know that Ryan Fitzpatrick locks on to his top target. He loves to throw deep, and I think Terry McLaurin is going to excel. So he's someone I want on my team. And then if I'm a contender, I'm fine targeting Stephon Diggs as a wide receiver. That's the veteran that I kind of want. They just restructured his contract. He's going to be paired with Josh Allen for 2 or 3 years. You have a good window with Stephon Diggs. He just turned 27. If you want someone who I think can deliver top 3 value for the next 3 years, veteran, that high-end veteran, Stephon Diggs will be the one I would target, not Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams would be the one I would get rid of. And then Michael Thomas also, I think, is a little bit undervalued. If you need a veteran, a high-end veteran, Michael Thomas might be a decent target. That a bunch of good ones?
Yeah, that's a bunch of really good ones. I'd add Deontay Johnson and Jerry Jeudy, 2 really good route runners, wide receivers that are going a little bit later right now.
Yeah.
I'd like to add.
They're not going that late. They're going a little higher. And I'm never getting Deontay Johnson because Chase Claypool is going behind him. And I think that that's a huge mistake.
He's going as the wide receiver 21 right now. I would definitely take him above that. Judy's going as a 23. I'd take him above that.
Would you really take who's above Deontay Johnson that you disagree with?
Hang on. Let me
that's the thing. You say that, but who's above him that you disagree with? I don't think you'll find anyone.
Hang on, let me see where he is in my wide receiver.
Chase Claypool is my buy on that team because Chase Claypool is behind Deontay Johnson, which I disagree with. I'd rather have those Metcalf traits from
I've
Claypool.
got him at 17. So let me see who that means on here.
17? How is that possible?
I don't know. I'll have to figure that out here in just a second.
But yeah,
we'll figure out who I've got.
I like Deontay Johnson, but he's a little expensive. Deontay Johnson did not come out as high in my 2021 rankings as I thought he would. He was significantly lower than I thought.
This was Dynasty Pidians. This was his question that ultimately got him the win. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? Just kidding. Which QB between Mac Jones or Justin Fields has higher upside if Julio lands in New England?
Justin Fields still has higher upside because Justin Fields is actually really good. Mac Jones is just okay. So, Justin Fields.
It is a good little thought experiment because
no, it isn't.
It is
no. Don't entertain it because then the people will start to think that this is a legitimate comparison, and it's not. It's not. There is no comparison between Mac Jones and Justin Fields whatsoever. None. Zero. One of those two players has extreme fantasy upside, and the other does not. There is no comparison between Mac Jones and Justin Fields, no matter the players on their team. I'm just saying, like that is not a real comparison.
Real fantasy god, Claypool or Deontay Johnson.
I just answered this.
More dynasty value. Yeah,
I think
Tyler just answered that. I say Deontay Johnson. He says Claypool.
I think it's Claypool. I think that you want to take the shot on the guy who could be a first-round dynasty pick, and that's Claypool. Deontay Johnson's never going to be even a second-round dynasty pick. He's had too many seasons and too many issues to ever get there. I think that Deontay Johnson's current price is, and that's why I don't really like him that much, is I think his current price is not that far off from his ceiling. I think he could go up 10 maybe overall spots, but that's it. I don't think he's ever going to be a top even 30 player. I don't see it, whereas Chase Claypool could be. That's why I would take Claypool.
He could be. I think he needs a new quarterback for that.
I just don't think he has that ceiling. And also a lot of my issue and why I prefer Claypool is I think that a lot of Deontay Johnson's values comes from Ben liking him more. And I'm worried about that. I'd rather take the traits that don't go away. I want Claypool's size. That's not going to change no matter who the quarterback is.
Back to the comments. We are coming up close on 2 hours already. We're not close to being done.
We have many more questions. But I am ready. I have plenty of energy. The people's questions must be answered. They must be answered. We will answer the people's questions. Even if it takes every last bit of energy I have, we will answer all of the questions from the people. So let's get to this one. What is this?
And that is what we're here for. We are here to do everything we can to take these questions. We know this is a time in the offseason. Championships can be won right here in the offseason on these moves. We want to be here to answer these questions.
This is a very good question. Let's read it.
In a startup superflex, do you load up on sleeper rookie wide receivers, running backs in the later rounds, Darby, Seth Williams, etc., or go for second, third year guys like Preston Williams or Traquan Smith, etc.?
Okay. So in this case, generally at that stage in the draft, I want what I have not seen over what I have typically. Now, you named players that have shown enough that I'd probably rather have them over the other. I've seen enough in my life of Preston Williams and Traquan Smith to tell me that I probably want them over random 6th-round picks like Darby and Seth Williams, who might never, ever see the field at all. But generally, if we're talking about similar qualities of players, I want the one I've never seen just in case they're like the next Stephon Diggs. We know that Preston Williams and Traquan Smith are not going to be that because we've seen enough of them to tell us that they're not going to be. Whereas, if you were comparing Darby and Seth Williams, are just a little too deep. But if you were telling me, do I want Cornell Powell or Preston Williams or Traquan Smith? Give me Cornell Powell. Give me the guy on the Chiefs with the path to playing time. That you never know. If Cornell Powell is talented somehow, he'll have the big rise in value, whereas Preston Williams and Traquan Smith, people will never trust them.
Amon St. Brown or Traquan Smith or Preston Williams?
Amon Ra. Easy. Like Traquan Smith has 3 years of
definite failure, and it's not going to get better for him.
You're a Saints fan, aren't you?
Yeah, it's not going to get better for him this year.
Right,
Preston Williams,
yeah.
I'm not sure he makes that team. I think
Williams, he'll make the team. I'm not concerned about that. But there's no role for him. If he makes the team, he's a UDFA who's getting paid nothing, who has talent. He's going to make the team because you don't cut players like that. Because what's the risk?
Too many, you start going through who's all on that team, it gets hard to keep him.
But he's the clear fourth best receiver on that team, but he has no dynasty value at all.
NFL question. Ryan asked, who wins the division? Does the Titans, Colts, Texans, Jaguars? Who do you think?
I would pick the Titans because whatever I said about the Colts, we would quadruple it and apply it to the Texans. The Texans are the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, we've heard me talk about – I talked about this on the Dynasty Duo podcast. You know, we were looking at early season quarterback schedules, and we saw that Trevor Lawrence started the season against the Texans. And I was like, whoa, he's going to get off to a good start and raise his dynasty value because the Texans are – what did we say at the beginning of the show? What did we say about the Texans front office? Failure. Failure and incompetence. Failure and incompetence. So I think that the Titans are the favorite to win that division. For me, personally.
I'm going to lock it up as in a league where he can redshirt players up to and including their sophomore year. Is Devonta Smith a good candidate? Basically, is Devonta Smith a guy that you think is going to provide value in 2021?
Yes. So I would say that he's not a good candidate then.
If he's going to provide value in 2021, that means Jalen Hurts is probably going to have a pretty good year.
Doesn't work that way. Like, here's my issue. So my issue with Jalen Hurts.
Flacco's
no. Here's the problem with Jalen Hurts. And this is why I'm skeptical of him at all. Is that he has to win games, not play well. If he plays pretty good and they go 5-12, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that he looked good. Doesn't matter. They're going to replace him. He's in the same situation, really, that Gardner Minshew was in last year. He is playing for his job. He needs to win enough games to stop them from drafting another quarterback. It's that simple. He has to win the games. So he could have good fantasy stats, and he probably will. I have Jalen Hurts statted, well, I don't stat, but like in my yearly rankings as a quarterback one. So I expect him to put up the fantasy numbers, but I don't expect him to win a lot of games, and I expect him to be replaced. That's my issue. So I think Devonta Smith is the clear number one target on that team. So I
thank you again. We definitely, I'll mention this again. We got a bunch of new people joining us. You can get your questions answered on Twitter by putting them in the comments here. One way to guarantee we're going to answer them right away is right here with the super chat.
True.
That shows our bosses you guys like what we're doing, and we really appreciate that. So definitely, if you got the ability to do that. If not, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment, say something nice about us. That would go a long way too. But Colvin asked, if A-Rod goes to Denver, where do you see Fant finishing?
So I can tell you that I have Fant right now for this year at tight end 7. So if they had Rodgers, now Rodgers doesn't have a history of producing good fantasy tight ends. So it's not like I'm having a celebration. It would be Jerry Jeudy I would be having the celebration for, followed by Sutton, and then Fant last. As in, their values would all rise, but Judy's would rise the most, followed, and then Sutton the next most, and Fant the least rise, although it would still rise because Drew Lock is a failure. He is horrible. Drew Lock is unlike Carson Wentz, who actually produced good quarterback something at some point in his career. Drew Lock has never been good at any point in his career ever. So that, I don't want 2 years of failure. I have 2 years of failure and no success. So no Drew Lock for me. So everyone would rise, but where would I have Fant? The top 4 this year is pretty locked in, right? Kelsey is the clear 1, and then Kittle and Waller are the clear 2 and 3. And I think most people, just based on the volume, have Hawkinson at 4. And I think that that's the clear top 4 pretty much for everybody. And there's no way Fant's going to break into that. But I could have him at 5. With Rodgers, I could have Fant at 5. I could push him above Pitts and Andrews, who are the 2 I have ahead of him right now, by the way. Yeah. So maybe I'd push him from 7 to 5 with Rodgers.
I think he's even in that mix to be that that tight end 5 without him. I mean, it would not be a surprise if he finishes up there. He's going to get a lot of targets.
Doesn't matter.
He's one of the best athletes at the position. And the icing on the cake for me is Pat Shurmur is a big fan of running plays to target the tight end. And he's going to get a lot of targets. He could lead that team in targets. It's possible.
No. He's not going to out-target Jerry Jeudy.
I'm just saying,
not a healthy Jerry Jeudy. Not a healthy Jerry Jeudy. He didn't do it last year, did he? I don't think so.
No, he was hurt.
Right, but Jeudy was rookie. I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
With Locke and how was Teddy Bridgewater targeting the tight end? How did he do with targeting the tight end? Was he good at targeting the tight end? I don't think so. I don't remember him targeting the tight end at all. So, and Teddy Bridgewater's not very good either. So, yeah, my issue with Fant is those two. Failure A and failure B that he has at quarterback. So that's my issue. That's why I have Fant at 7. If he had Aaron Rodgers, I would have him at 5. I would be much more excited. I agree that he has a lot of potential, but I have an issue with the quarterback play. If there are no touchdowns in the offense, tight ends are so touchdown dependent. If I don't think the Broncos are going to score a lot of touchdowns, I'm not that interested in Fant.
Devonta Smith or Rashad Bateman?
Devonta Smith, easily. Devonta Smith by a mile. And that is partially because a couple reasons. One is that so it's funny. I don't have it ranked for Dynasty this way because Hollywood Brown is stuck on the Ravens. But I think that Hollywood Brown is a better player than Jalen Reagor. I think Hollywood Brown is better than Jalen Reagor. I think Mark Andrews is better than Dallas Goedert. I don't think that's a very hot take. So I just think that Devonta Smith is the clear number 1 weapon on that team. I don't do numbered projections. That's not something I do. I've talked about this on other shows. It is a lot of work that nobody ever reads. And it's just not worth it. So, yeah.
I'm going to look it up. He agrees with what you're saying, what you said earlier, and kind of alluding to there too. It was an also awful distribution of rookie wide receivers other than Chase. Wonder which QBs will profit. That's going to be an interesting thing to see. What about Joe Mixon?
Oh no,
I don't think we've had a discussion about him on the Ask DLF show. So kind of curious. What do you think? Can he put together an elite season? And he's right. It kind of is now or never for him.
I don't know, man. I mean, Joe Mixon is one of those guys that, like, if I gave him a fair projection, he'd come out higher, but I just can't do it. I can't do it. Something about him, he's burned me too many times, and you just punish players for that. So,
yeah, I think
I would say no.
Punish him too. Like if he falls flat on his face again this year, there's just no way his value is never going to recover.
I'd say no. I would not bet on it.
Superflex 1.5 tight end premium. What side do you got? Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and Elijah Moore, or 2022 first and second.
I mean, Gronk isn't worth really anything, so probably. I mean, the 2022 first is the most valuable asset in this deal,
right?
So that's probably what I'm going with.
Yeah, I agree with that take. I think the first is the most valuable thing here because you're basically flipping a second round pick. Brady and Gronk don't have much dynasty value. If you're a contender, maybe, but I don't. I think I want the picks.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, this is going back to that. Waddle say he wanted Mac over Tua. He did.
He did say that, and that's bad. That's bad. Yeah, that's not.
He did. I heard an interview from the guy that asked him the question though, and he was like, I kind of put him on the spot. I kind of, he wanted to, Tua already had his team. He wanted to make sure that he was hyping up his buddy to, get him a good draft pick and stuff like that. So
I get it.
I don't know who Travis and Patrick are, but they're BFFs, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
Good job, Travis and Patrick. What's Denver going to do with QB? We kind of talked about that already. Which players do you like to own in Dynasty from the Bears?
Justin Fields. I mean, Allen Robinson. Like, I want the good players. I don't know. I mean, I like Darnell Mooney at his value. Yeah, I don't know. I love Cole Kmet. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty in on all of them with Justin Fields. I like that they got Justin Fields. But yeah, also I will say that telling me that you don't like me in the comments is not going to get any of your questions read. So don't.
Gosh, I haven't even seen that. I haven't scrolled down.
Don't do that. That's not going to get your questions read. That is going to probably get you ignored. So yeah, don't do that.
It's easy to just scroll on past or just change the YouTube channel, my man.
Just turn it off. If you don't,
nobody's
like,
making you watch this.
understand that I can be loud and obnoxious sometimes. And if you don't like me, just turn my show off. You don't have to listen. Nobody's making you listen. So yeah, if you don't like it, just go listen to someone else. I'm sure there's a zillion people who create good content. It's not just me. So yeah, that's really just what I say. Like, you can leave a couple negative comments if you want, but if it's just that I suck, just take yourself somewhere else.
David Montgomery, I did not expect myself to be interested in him coming into this offseason because I thought for sure his value was going to be way too high coming off of the back end of last season the way he did. But at RB22, he's going behind Josh Jacobs, behind Miles Sanders. Like, I like him better than those guys.
I would prefer him over Jacobs. Well, actually, I have Jacobs ranked ahead, so I think that they're all similar.
He's 23. I mean, like, even like some of those other guys in that mix.
Sanders. I mean, Montgomery was born.
Montgomery
was a 97 birthday, and Jacobs is 98. Sanders is also 97. I know that. Sanders is May something 97. I don't know, but they're both, Montgomery and Sanders are 90 in the spring of 97, and Jacobs I think is February or January 98. So Jacobs has a slight age edge on those other two, but yeah. So that does give me a slight lean towards Jacobs just for the age, but Montgomery does have the clearest path to touches. But remember, there's Tariq Cohen there. Tariq Cohen could get in the way of the PPR work that he had last time. So yeah, I don't know.
Steve kind of hits on what I was trying to say earlier with Deontay Johnson is that's the quarterback is what to me gives him the advantage. And I think he's a good wide receiver, by the way.
We're playing Dynasty though.
I think it's a good wide receiver.
This comment is why Deontay Johnson is my highest ranked of the three in redraft. In redraft, I have Deontay Johnson ranked the highest of the three. But in Dynasty, I want the guy who has the first round upside. And that is not Deontay Johnson. That's Clayton.
Yeah, but sometimes we imagine like what could be. Like, there's no guarantee he's ever going to have a quarterback that's going to be able to get him the ball that way.
Right, but
we know Deontay Johnson is going to have a quarterback for at least the next year, probably more. That's going to be targeting him this many times. Like that's sometimes you got to go with what you.
You're not having more than 1 year. Big Ben. Big Ben is washed. So they believe me. If he were not under contract for 2021, you wouldn't have had this year of Big Ben. The only reason that they have him back is because they owed him $41 million with like $19 million in dead cap. It's the only reason they have him back. But believe me, that he would not have been back otherwise. So I would say that you got to look forward. And I just think that Chase Claypool is very talented. That's really all it is. I think he had a great rookie season. He was a second round pick. He has a draft capital. And he has all of that plus athletic traits that Deontay Johnson does not have and he's not going to. He's not going to become. His body is not going to become Chase Claypool's. That's not going to happen. So that's why I just slightly lean towards Chase Claypool. But if you notice who has not been mentioned, that's Juju, who I don't think is very good. So I just wrote an article about Juju. I talked about it at the start of the show, which was 2 hours ago. And yeah, I not in on Juju. So I do like the other two this year.
Skid asked, what round would you consider taking Fields in a startup dynasty? Would you take Fields over Hurts? That's an interesting question based, coming back around to what we talked about earlier.
Yes, I would. I would take the actually really good quarterback over the maybe. Oh, okay. You're going to tell me that Hurts is a really good quarterback? I don't think so.
We don't know that Fields is going to be anything more than like Fields could be better. Sure.
No. Fields was drafted in the first round for a reason, and Hurts was drafted in the second. Hurts was drafted to be a backup. Like, you're forgetting about that. The only reason we're talking about Jalen Hurts is because of Mr. Failure. Mr. Failure is the only reason we're even talking about Jalen Hurts. The only reason Jalen Hurts had an opportunity to play at all was because of Mr. Failure, Carson Wentz. So, yes, I would take Justin. The NFL got this wrong. The NFL got it wrong. Justin Fields should have been the number 2 overall pick. They made a huge mistake. He fell to number 11, but that's still the first round. So a team traded away a future first-round pick for the right to trade up in the first round to get him, whereas the Eagles just picked Hurts in second as backup. So let's not compare the 2 levels of investment. Fields is going to get multiple opportunities, multiple years as the potential starter, whereas Hurts is every game is playing for his job. So I would just say that just on that alone, I would take Fields, even forgetting how many points they're going to score, just for the security alone.
So I took him recently in the league. I just pulled it up. I took him in the 6th round. Now, that's a 1 QB league of a 14-team league. That's 14 team. I took him very into the 6th round and not have a quarterback yet.
That's fine, but it's probably too early.
It's there's a run on quarterbacks. It's a dynasty league, and I liked him. The in a super flex, he's going right now according to our ADP as like number 22. That's pretty high.
I love this last comment. It's funny because when you've been doing this as long as I have, I feel like you're allowed to sound that way. But that's okay. Say whatever you want.
Hey, he might be talking about me. You never know.
Nah. I think we know. I think we know who he's talking about.
Aaron, 1984 says rank these sophomores: Denzel Mims, Michael Pittman, Henry Ruggs, Jalen Reagor, Brian Edwards. Who should he cut ties with?
Of those, probably Edwards.
Who are you voting off the island?
Edwards, if I had to vote one of them off, because the others have more draft capital and more opportunity. So, yeah, Edwards is getting voted off the island. Sorry, Brian Edwards. I still like you, though, as a sleeper.
I also like Denzel Mims. Despite our conversation last week, I still like him.
I don't dislike him. I don't think he's as good as Elijah Moore. That's more of what it is that I far prefer Elijah Moore to Denzel Mims.
BV, we don't always need more questions. We have a bunch, but we will absolutely take them from you. We this is what we're doing. We're over 2 hours now with the whole.
We still have about 30 plus questions that we did not get to.
Of answering questions. We're so glad. I mean, there's still a bunch of people here watching. We thank you for tuning in. I appreciate that. A lot of comments coming in. So yeah, and that's Tyler. That's who we're doing it for, right? Yeah. So. Mike Evans or Keenan Allen?
I'll take Keenan Allen.
Steve is on the clock. 1 QB, PPR rookie draft. 106, 107, 109, 110, 111. In a 1 QB,
man.
You're missing the bigger names there. Harris, Chase, Pitts, Lawrence, and Bateman go. That does leave you with a couple of decent options, though.
What? Oh, man. Whoever picked at 104 and 105 is not very smart.
No.
Okay. I'll take ETN and Javonte Williams, please. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be 6 and 7, no doubt. What about that 9th and 11? That's tricky. Are you thinking wide receiver there? Are you looking at like Rondale Moore, Elijah Moore?
No, I'll pick whichever of Devonta Smith or Jalen Waddle doesn't go.
Jalen Waddle, yep.
Yeah.
That 10 and 11, how do you have it ranked between Elijah Moore, Rondale Moore, Terrence Marshall, or Trey Sermon?
Oh, Terrace Marshall's not in that conversation. But I have it actually back to back, Rondale Moore, Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman, with Trey Sermon behind all of them.
I'm going to lock it up. Says, thanks, y'all. Great show. We're not done. We're
not done. And I also like it when people tell me that the show is good. If you want the show to continue, that is a good way to get that to happen, to drown out the mean people who say it's bad.
I think this comment here might be talking about me.
I doubt it.
We're not even going to put it up. But
no, we're not going to put it up. Put up the Julio question.
Yeah, where does Julio end up?
Probably the Patriots. as much as I don't like it. They need a wide receiver one so badly. They have Nelson Aguilar and N'Keal Harry. They need a wide receiver one so badly there. So I would say the Patriots.
You know, the Falcons knew June 1st was coming, right? So did other teams. And the fact that they didn't get a deal done today kind of surprised me. I sort of thought they might already have something in the chamber ready to go. And the fact that they didn't today makes me think like it's not quite as much of a done deal maybe as we want to believe. It's probably still going to happen, but
it's a done deal because he said he was out on live TV.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
I think that they did. They will have a done deal there. So, yeah.
Okay. Lamb versus Cooper. CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper? Who do you like?
In 2021, Amari Cooper still long-term CeeDee Lamb by a lot.
Yes. I kind of think Lamb passes him, but we'll see.
I think he will as well. But I think it'll happen at some point during the year. I'm not sure that Lamb's totals will be above him, but I do have Lamb ranked very highly for this year. I have Lamb for 2021 alone as wide receiver 15. I have Cooper at 13.
I love this. This is great. Tanya. Is it? If it's like a play on Kanye, that's brilliant.
I think it's Tony E, maybe. Just like
maybe Tony E, but I'm going to call you Tanya.
Starting with E.
I like the idea of you being Tanya. This is honestly the most informative live Dynasty show I've watched in months. That's what we're here for. I'm so glad to hear you say that because we want to be able to do that. And if you do like what you're watching and you appreciate it, look, if nothing else, we are working very hard for you. So here we are, like 2 hours, 10 minutes. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, give us a good comment. And some of these other guys, let's drown them out a little bit. The Trey Sermon hype is getting a little bit ridiculous. I don't get it. What are your overall thoughts? I remember we talked about Sermon, but just
man, I don't know what to do with Sermon. I have a bad feeling about it. Really, really bad. Like I'm worried, but I don't know what to do about it because the upside's so high. So I have him ranked where I have him ranked, and I'm okay with it. But yeah, I'm worried. I am. I think that we could just see nothing out of Trey Sermon at all, and that wouldn't surprise me. Or we could see him be an RB1 this year, and that wouldn't surprise me. So high risk, high reward. Just know what you're getting.
A lot of rumors about Raheem Mostert being dropped a cut as well.
You keep saying that. Like, that is fake news. Like,
a lot of rumors.
Explain why an NFL team would cut their only veteran running back that they have healthy, that was on the team last year and was good when he was on the field the last 2 seasons, including as part of a Super Bowl run. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. He only has a $3 million cap charge. We're not talking about someone who costs 5, 6, 7 million. So I just don't believe that personally. I don't understand why they would do that.
Killing it, guys. Great work. Thank you, Aaron. Really, really appreciate you tuning in. I think he had a comment that was like an hour ago, so he's sticking with us. Certainly appreciate that, Aaron. Appreciate you watching the show and supporting us with that. I'm going to lock it up. This show is going on the schedule for sure. Loving these live fantasy streams popping
every week.
Todd says, love of the show. Keep it up. We are definitely keeping up every single week.
It's true.
Forever. I'm loving your thoughts and opinion, like you don't hold punches. Keep it up. And see, that's the thing right there. Like, look, not every fantasy analyst is going to be for everybody.
That's true.
But you have to focus on the ones that it's for. And there are a lot of people that, hey, are appreciating it. And we certainly appreciate that as well. Some hair.
Yeah. It's also like, this isn't an act, right? Like, this is actually how I am. Like, this is really me. I'm not, when the camera turns off, I'm still going to be me. Like, Cal knows, like, when we've talked, when we're not recording, I'm still like this. Nothing changes. I'm still, this is just really who I am. So I just always want to be honest with you guys. I'm just going to say how I'm feeling. And sometimes maybe it's obnoxious. Sometimes maybe it's a little mean, but I'd rather that than not tell you guys the truth. So Yeah, I'm probably not going to change. This is the me that you're going to get forever. So, if that's what you like, I'm glad you like it, because you're going to be getting this for the extent of this show.
Lots of Trey Sermon talk going on here. Trey Sermon is overrated. It's a trap. It could be.
It feels like a trap, doesn't it? He wasn't that good in college, right?
I don't want it to be, but it could be.
It feels like a trap, but put up this last comment.
Well, wait. T. Higgins dynasty value with Chase.
Very interesting.
Mac, we definitely have covered this one, but
Yes.
I don't think it changes. I think there's enough to go around, and my thing is, I think there's even enough to go around for Tyler Boyd, and I like him too. But this team is they want to lead the league in pass attempts. Well, can they do that? Can they keep Burrow upright enough to do that? We'll see. But that's what they want to do, and I think you could have all three of them go over 100 in targets, and yeah, they're going to be good.
It changes a little bit, but people changed it too much. He went from a sell to a buy. Like, he was, to me, about 5 spots overvalued before. I moved him down like 3 spots, and everyone else moved him down 12 or so. So now he's become a buy to me because he moved down way too far. I agree he should have moved down a little bit, but people overreacted. And now he's gone from a sell to a buy. So, yes, it went down a little bit, but he's my wide receiver 17, I want to say. I had a good discussion with this, actually. I had a whole long discussion. You can go look it up with Jacob Sanderson. Saw on Twitter. It was very, very long about Higgins, Ayuk, Claypool, and there was one other player in there, Judy. Whole discussion about that. That was interesting. So it was like a long thread. So if you want to go look that up on Twitter, go for it.
Ian, I appreciate you finding us. I remember he got all the way back during the 2020 season. I remember him riding through some live streams with me. I really appreciate that. Rebuilding in a 12-team Superflex gave Kyler Murray and Antonio Gibson for Patrick Mahomes and a 2022 first. What do you think?
Wow. Ordinarily in Superflex, I just say Mahomes.
Yeah.
But the difference between Gibson and a 2022 first is a lot. I would far rather have Gibson than a 2022 first. Man, if you're rebuilding, I want the pick, but I probably have to go with Kyler and Gibson. I think it's too much. Even for Mahomes. I think Gibson is worth enough, personally. I think it's too much. So I would go with the Kyler Gibson side. It's close, though. It's not a terrible trade.
Because I put Kyler kind of in that upper 3 echelon, like, I think you're right. I think I'd rather the distance between him and Mahomes is not greater than the distance between Gibson and that first.
You're right. Yeah, it's just so hard. In a Superflex, you see Mahomes and you want Mahomes. That's always what you want. It's almost always the Mahomes side that I say, because I see him. But realistically, really, the way that I see it is Mahomes is in tier 1. There is no tier 2. And then everyone else starts tier 3 is really how I see it. Where I think you see it as there's the tier 2 that includes Allen and Murray.
Exactly.
And then everyone else is tier 3. Whereas I just have them all kind of in tier 3, and Mahomes is so far ahead that he's in like 2 tiers up. But even so, I just think that Gibson is so valuable compared to a 2022 first that I have to go with that side. People think that I'm out on Gibson, but I'm not. I have him as an RB1 in Dynasty, so I'm not that out.
Oh shoot! I thought you were going to talk longer. I was going to go find that comment that was.
Which one? You hated was it from Matt Too Frosty? He always criticizes me. We're really good friends, so it's okay. I really respect him. I remember him when he just was getting started. I was one of the people that I seen his rise from the beginning. I have a lot of respect for him, but he does always like to fight with me, and I love it. I love that I can fight back.
I want to go back to some of these Twitter questions because they're really like just questions that make you think a little bit. Do you think the current wave of second year or second contract running backs?
I love this
Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Derrick Henry, and Joe Mixon are going to push the age cliff higher for running backs. What do you think?
No, the age cliff is lower. The age cliff is lower for running backs, not higher. The age cliff has been decreasing over time. So no, is the short answer to that question. I think that the age cliff. What do you think the age cliff is? When do you think people start to panic? What's your number?
So
I think I know what it is.
I think when 26 for sure, but I think maybe it's even 25 for a running back that you start hearing you got to get rid of this guy.
Yeah, it's 26 is the number at which the ADP starts to go down. And I think that you're going to see that in like September's ADP when Dalvin Cook has the 26 next to his name and not the 25. You're going to see the ADP go down. Even though people should value that in now, they don't because they don't look it up. But like, trust me, once you see the 26 next to his name, the value is going to go down. So yeah, I agree that it's 26, and I think it's going to stay 26. I think that people are risk averse. So yeah, 26 is always been my number at which I'm kind of like, I don't really want this guy on my team. And once I go past 26, I'm accepting that I'm going to have them on my team forever. Like I'm no longer really selling Derrick Henry or trying that hard to do that.
How many of these guys next year in a startup are going to be taken ahead of the top of last year's class? So like the Jonathan Taylors, the Swift.
Taylor's a separate question because Taylor's already ahead of all of them except CMC.
So Swift, Akers, those guys, like how many of these guys next year are going to go over that crowd? Okay,
so like right now, CMC, I think Aaron Jones and Mixon are in a completely separate conversation just because Mixon has way too many issues and people will never forgive him. And Aaron Jones is too old and has his own issues. Derrick Henry, the same thing. His value is going to continue. Like Derrick Henry at this point is a depreciating asset. Like you're going to move him down no matter his performance. He's going to move down the ADP like that. Or like that, I guess. He's going to move down no matter what. CMC is number one, so he only can go down. Dalvin Cook and Alvin Kamara, I think, are getting close to that point. I think that they're about to turn 26, and they're probably going to go down anyway. I think that people are going to stick to this running back, this young running back. We want a running back on their first contract, and then it's time to get rid of them mentality. I think people are going to stick to that.
I want to go back to our comments here because there was a question here about James Robinson. We've talked about it a little bit, but Tony E or Tanya, he asked, can James Robinson be an RB2? What do you think?
RB2, no, I don't think so. There's not enough room for him to be an RB2. RB3 flex player maybe, but RB2, no. I can't see it.
He's going to have to get a number of carries that I would not be comfortable projecting for him to be an RB2. But if somehow he does get like 250 carries, then sure. The issue is that for that to happen, I think Jacksonville's defense would have to be a lot better than we think it's going to be. And I think it's going to be absolutely awful. I think it's going to be awful. That's why I think Trevor Lawrence is going to do so well, because I think they're going to be throwing the ball constantly. So, yeah, I don't think so on Robinson being an RB2. I have him at, I believe, RB31 for 2021. Tyler's always entertaining. You don't 100% agree. Don't ever become bland. That's the thing is like, you don't have to agree. It's okay.
I know. I know. Yeah, no, I'm not going to become bland. I mean, this is going to be what it is. This is always who I've been. So nothing's going to change.
Yep. Ian talking about his trade there. Yeah, I'd have to get a big haul for Akers. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I'm not trading Akers. Unless I get a big haul. I actually did trade Akers recently, but I was happy with what I got.
Great show so far. Yeah, we're almost 2.5 hours in. So yes, it's been a great show.
How many more of those Twitter questions do we have? I feel bad for the people who sent the questions in advance. Because they did what we wanted, but we've been going more to the people who've been sending the questions in the comments.
You know what though? I think I'm gonna save a lot of the rest of those questions for next week, because then, like, we can always go back to those. Some of those are good, just Dynasty questions overall.
Yeah. So let's
Good
save
thoughtful
some of them.
questions.
But
we'll
we
save some
probably
of those
won't
for
go
that.
back into the live comments. So if there are any other ones in the live comments that were good.
I like this one.
Okay. You go first.
Okay, so I'm actually going to go in detail on this with G-Min J on his show, where we're also giving away a Scott Fishbowl spot on Thursday. You can check out G-Min J on Twitter to find out more details about that. My guys at each position, the first one, no one's going to like to hear this, but it's Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
At quarterback. He's free. I'm 100% convinced he's going to be the quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. He's going to be the quarterback.
Right.
The other guy's not good. The other guy is more of a failure than Carson Wentz.
Do we need to do it? Do we need to do it? do we need to go through it? Do we need to go through Taysom Hill's history?
Tune in and on Thursday, because that's I'm gonna have a lot of things to say about Taysom. I don't want to go too far into that.
Yeah, no, tune in, because he'll be on a friendlier show with a co-host that won't like absolutely rip him to shreds about it.
I've had so many conversations about Taysom Hill at this point, like
with me, yeah.
Well, with you and with literally everybody, because it's like me, Dynasty Jake, and Derek Brown from FTN. We're like the only, and maybe Elvin Ryan. I think maybe the other one is the only people on this Taysom Hill island. Like, we're the only ones.
Yeah, and I'm very much not there, for the record. To sum up my thoughts, I think that Taysom Hill is not a quarterback at all. I think he sucks, and I think that I would not recommend drafting him in any way whatsoever. So if you want to hear, that's my opinion, but I will let Cal make his case for that when he's not on a show with someone who's gonna absolutely savage everything he says on Taysom Hill.
Well, and that's fine. I don't care if he's savage or not. But
You are scheduled to make.
He's going to do it. He's going to start him, and therefore you have to take him seriously. And he was the QB6 during his time as a starting quarterback. So
he's not going to.
Sean Payton's going to be stubborn and start him, which he is.
Vegas odds say no.
He's free right now. You can get him for a
2022. Put some money on it. I'll put my money where my mouth is.
My running back is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's going late right now as far as I'm concerned, compared to what I think he could be. First round pick and a vastly improved offensive line.
I like it.
Vastly improved.
I like it a lot. People have quit on Clyde Edwards-Helaire too easily. I like it a lot. He was a first round pick. I like it. I like it a lot. I think he's going to bounce back in year 2. That is a great name. I can endorse that one. I did say that I have him above ADP earlier. So yeah, I completely endorse Clyde Edwards-Helaire as a guy that I like as well.
My wide receiver, Deontay Johnson. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but I kind of have some details on like stats that I really like for Deontay Johnson that I'll again go in on the show. And my tight end is Noah Fant, who we talked about earlier as well. So yeah. What about you? Who are you guys?
A quarterback, honestly, just given the way that I've been talking, I think it's Trevor Lawrence. I think it has to be. Like the way I talk about Trevor Lawrence, I think that he's going to rise in value in year 1. I think he could be a quarterback 1 in year 1, not the quarterback 1, but a quarterback 1. So yeah, Trevor Lawrence would probably be my guy at quarterback. At running back, I tend to be out on running backs generally. I'm not a big fan of rostering running backs, but Kyle Edwards-Helaire was someone that I'm higher on than consensus. But if not him, going back to the Jaguars, I'm pretty in on Travis Etienne. I think that, again, Trevor Lawrence is going to deliver a lot of fantasy value in the passing game to the running back. We know what those two did together. So yeah, I like Travis Etienne a lot. I think he's going to produce in year 1. Honestly, the wide receiver I'm the highest on compared to consensus is Laviska Shenault, but I will give you guys a different one because I don't want to just give you guys all Jaguars. Just grab all
Jaguars.
I think what you're hearing here is that I'm very, very in on the Jaguars offense. But if you don't want to go with Laviska Shenault. We actually mentioned this guy's name earlier, but I'm pretty in on Darnell Mooney. I think that Darnell Mooney is going to be a good secondary option in the Justin Fields-led Bears offense. And then at tight end, honestly, I mean, I don't think I'm in enough on Kyle Pitts to make him my guy. And I'm not really in on the other high-priced tight ends. But the one guy that I'm above consensus on seems to be Irv Smith. I think that Irv Smith is going to have – I think Adam Thielen is in decline, and I think Irv Smith is going to eat into his target share a bit. So I of all the tight ends, I tend to be a little out on the tight end, investing in tight end in general. So I tend to be behind schedule on a lot of those guys. But yeah, and if you want a deeper name, Anthony Ferkser is a sleeper that I like a lot at tight end.
Ed says he's not high on Chubb, fantastic running back, but doesn't like Hunt being there. Doesn't have the receiving upside as a few of the other backs. I think Chubb is going to rush for 2,000 yards. His offensive line is the best in the NFL. The best.
Chubb is so
running for 2,000 yards. And look, it's fluky. I don't expect it to continue, but he was out targeting Hunt at the very end of the last season.
Let's play a game. Name all the running backs for 2021 alone you would take over Nick Chubb.
Like out of just the 2021 class?
No. In 2021, you would take blank running backs over Nick Chubb. Give me the names.
McCaffrey.
Okay.
I would take Kamara. Dynasty?
PPR. We're talking PPR 2021.
Okay,
the 2021 season.
Taylor. That's it. Those three.
So you're telling me that in 2021 you'd rather draft Chubb over Henry?
Yes.
I'm not there, man.
I think the floor is about to fall out on Henry.
I'm not there.
I mean, look, it's possible he's just this athletic freak that is going to like defy all odds and every like stat about usage and carries and like when your body breaks down. It's possible, sure.
Henry's usage is not as high as you think.
The numbers say he's about to break down. He's way past your age curve.
That's true. And that's why I don't want to roster him. But the reason the age curve is there is more because of what happens when there's a catastrophic, unpredictable injury at that age. Not he wore down. It's he tears his ACL. That can happen on, realistically, you accept that any running back can tear their ACL on any play. Any play. So that could happen to anyone at any time. And if a running back of Henry's age tears his ACL, he's done. His career, outside of Adrian Peterson, he's done. His career's over. So that's the risk you take of a running back at that stage. So that's why I'm more out on Henry, because he's older and I don't want to be left holding the bag in case the injuries start to come. But if he remains healthy, and by the way, he's never missed any games ever. Unlike Chubb. Chubb missed games. Chubb missed time last year. And Chubb had a catastrophic injury in college that almost ended his career. So give me Henry for this year over Chubb. I have Chubb for this year at running back 8. Okay. I have McCaffrey, Henry, Cook, Kamara, Barkley, Zeke, and Taylor.
Barkley's the one that's close for me. Just some of the stuff like, about his health coming back and being, minimized in the beginning of the season.
I moved him down. I had him at 2. I moved him down to 5. That is concerning to me. I agree. It is a concern. But the receiving work for me. Versus Chubb, who has no receiving work. No receiving work at all. So I just have to go with the receiving work of Barkley to keep him above Chubb. That's the only thing for me. And then Zeke, I think Zeke, the receiving work is more even for Zeke than it is for Chubb. They just don't throw to Chubb. I don't know why, but they just don't do it. They should. I think he's perfectly capable of it, but I don't understand why they don't throw him the ball.
That offensive line is so good.
I wish they threw him a few more passes. I wish they did. I really do. I don't see why they don't, actually. I think they should. I would criticize the coaching staff for not doing it, personally.
I'm going to lock it up. Says, I like Taysom Hill, I like him for fantasy, but there's no chance he starts all year, if even one game. Man. Look, that's what most people think, and I get it. He's going to start. Yeah.
I think
there is a chance. There's a guarantee he's going to start.
How much you want to bet on it? They said there's guarantee. It's so guaranteed. You can bet on it. Go bet.
Yeah.
Go bet at DK Sportsbook. You can get Taysom Hill to start week 1 at plus 175. So the people who agree with Cal, go put your money on there at DK Sportsbook. You can go do that. I wish Dynasty League football had a promotion with one of the sports books. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
We put this up already, didn't we?
There's a conversation here about the trading acres and all that. Like, I'm certainly not doing that.
I'm not. Yeah, I actually did trade acres. But I traded acres for and this might seem kind of light, but it's the kind of thing I like to do. I got T. Higgins 2022 first, or was it T. Higgins 2022 firsts? Something like that. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's in Superflex too. It's hard. Running backs really just aren't worth that in Superflex when you can get quarterbacks with those picks. So I was okay with it. I'm tearing my team down to shreds, so I'm fine with it.
And with that, I think that right there is a show.
Yeah, I don't. We're never gonna catch up on all of the questions in the comments. There were ones at the beginning that we missed as well. So
yeah, and we will absolutely do everything we can. Look, over 2.5 hours of answering your questions, and we still have a bunch that we're going to be able to bring into next week. A lot of you guys still joining us here, still in the chat. Certainly appreciate that. Continue that conversation. Carry it over to Twitter. Let's talk. You have any questions? Hit us up. We can answer questions during the week too. So, that's obviously something that we can do.
I mean, I answer questions all the time.
Right.
So yeah, just at me. If you at me, just me and not 20 other people, you're more likely to get an answer from me. And wait, don't forget to promote the Ask DLF forum. Can't forget that.
Go ahead.
If you're a premium subscriber, you have access in the forums. It's at the top of the page to something called the Ask DLF team. You can put a question in there. Nobody ever uses it, so you'll get your question answered pretty quickly. I don't know why no one uses it, but you can ask your question, and the DLF analysts all have access to that forum. So not just me and Cal, everybody, and you'll get an answer. It's usually Jeff Mueller does a lot of answers in there. So you can get an answer from him, could be from me. I check it from time to time, but yeah, you'll get an answer there. And the best part about that is that your league mates don't get to read it. Only subscribers can read answers to those questions. So, you get like a private answer. So that's something that I used when I was a DLF subscriber before I was on staff there. And I really liked it. So I don't understand why people don't use it more, but it's a great way to get an edge over your league mates that people should take advantage of. It doesn't cost extra. It just comes with your subscription.
Yeah, which, by the way, I was going to pull up that tweet from Ryan. I'm going to do that now. Here, bear with me. Just pull up the one about
monographs. And also we definitely are having more trouble filling the Devi ones. The Devi ones definitely need more people. But at this point, I bet that the regular startups are probably full. But, sometimes people are inactive and he needs a quick replacement. So keep checking his Twitter at RyanMC23 is the best place to check for updates. But I don't think the Devi drafts are full. We always have less, more trouble filling those. So if if you're interested in Devi and you want to be in a Devi mock, just reply to that tweet and we'll say you want to be in Devi and we'll get you into those.
Get yourself on his radar as far as wanting to do those mocks, and that would be a really good thing. And you can get a free 1-year subscription for Dynasty League football. Catch up on all the articles that are written there. Every now and then there's one from me. Tyler has one up like seemingly every day. Like you said, Jeff has a bunch of them up there too. And then, of course, like you've got all of the DLF people that you know and love. And I don't even want to start naming them because I'll leave a bunch of them out. But you definitely know the names and you know who is writing. And they're good. It's good content. Plus the ADP tools, plus all the trade finder stuff. Like there's a lot of great things that you can find on dynastyleaguefootball.com. So make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel, whether you're watching it right now or on the playback. just double check and make sure that you are subscribed here. And if you are, we thank you for that. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. That does help us. We like to see that activity out. It helps YouTube's algorithm so that other people can stumble upon it. So make sure you're doing that as well. But for Tyler, anything else? Last word? Anything else you want to say?
No, I just want to thank the people for being active, for giving us questions both before the show and during. And a special thanks to the super chats. Those mean a lot to us, and we really appreciate those. So an extra special thanks to everyone who sent in a super chat.
Absolutely. And so for Tyler, for Dynasty League Football, make sure you're following DLF Carp. Maybe go follow DLF Tyler as well. Who knows? That might be one to find.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, follow me. Certainly appreciate that. And everybody tuning in, wish you a good week, and we will see you next week right here when we do this all again. Thank you, Ed. We appreciate you too.
We love you, Ed.
Absolutely. We will see you next